But for now, let's go live. Let's see. We can. I don't know. Let's talk. Have a little fun. Let's talk a little bit of Hawaiian Festival. Let's right.
It's been a long time.
You and me.
We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, man. You and me, my friend. Hey, people. What's up? This is episode 275. This is the Option Podcast. That guy over there looks like Jason Olive. We're gonna fix his camera, man. I set it up for short people, but for now, buckle up. The episode starts right now. Camera, got to do it proper. Oh my God, that looks good. I'm Jason DeBeas, people. This is the Option Podcast. Welcome 275. You, my friend, were episode 9.
I was just thinking about that. I was like, how many episodes have passed since I've been on there? 275?
When I was a pup. And I was just getting this in, and everybody had this idea, like, you should do a podcast. And, like, everybody from all sides of the aisle, like, you know, Casey Jennings, I haven't talked to him in a minute, but there was a whole bunch of people that picked up the phone and said, yes, I made it possible. Like, he came on. Chris Johnson came on. It was just...
Come check out the Option Podcast.
Sorry about that. Just a lot of people that made it happen, you know, and here we are. Here we are, and you're back.
166, is that math right? 166 episodes later.
Yeah, isn't that wild? Yeah. And we talked about a lot of things, but today I want to talk about the festival. I just want to talk about, I'm going to give you the floor because I have this habit of talking more than people, but you got so much. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy most of the show for us and the audience watching. Every time I ask, like, or I think about what kind of year someone's having, it's always like, another year of coaching, another year, whatever. Your year is, every time I'm thinking about what kind of year you had, there's always something new. You always into something, man. It is crazy. And I'd like, just to start, walk me through the pioneering of the Hawaii Fest, what inspired the idea.
You were there.
Yeah,
you were literally right next to me. Oh, my God.
So...
you don't know what you just asked me.
The floor is yours, my friend.
You don't know what you just asked me because I got an email about, 7 days ago that you are going to die when I tell you.
Give you some volume. Go ahead.
So Island Fest. Island Fest started in Phoenix.
Yes, it did.
All right. We went there some odd years ago to play in the festival. I had not seen the festival because I was out of volleyball for a long time, just doing entertainment stuff and whatnot. But I had not seen the festival since I was a youth player, you know, and it was in Davis. And, correct me if I'm wrong because you're a bigger volleyball nerd than me, which is probably saying something. Wasn't it one point, or do you know? I feel like at one point the festival, the Davis Cup was the Junior Olympics. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
That was that was before me.
Yeah, maybe those two things were separate, but I almost feel like, where's Lori Okamura when you need her? Lori, right? Yeah, she would know this, but I almost feel like it was. I mean, way back in the day, in the 80s. So anyway, hadn't been, and we had. I think we had one team that had qualified for USAV. They had won a bid. And then we were taking 3 or 4 teams. All I know is the bill on that thing was like $27,000 to get teams there. So whatever that was, 3 or 4 teams we brought to Phoenix, the Phoenix Volleyball Festival for the first time. It's Phoenix in the summer. It's 100 whatever. And you're in this concrete jungle, and you're walking from the hotel to the convention center. Massive amounts of teams, so that was really cool. Always good when the sport is thriving. And then the matches started, and it had to be. I mean, when I say thank God USAV trains refs, I mean this had to be one of the worst experiences of refereeing in my life, and it's been a long life of volleyball. I mean, I'm talking about worse than drunk refs at 6-man. I mean, this was at least there's an excuse. This was awful, and I love refs. I mean, I think Island Fest now is the only tournament that gives a top ref award along with the kids getting their top players award. We do a kind of best official trophy. We're flying the number one ref, and to say that's like we have a registration on our website for where people can submit their thoughts on the number one ref and SCSN. There's a bunch of categories for that, including like keeping it fun and style, and then you got to call a perfect game or as close as you can, right?
Sorry, let me your ear volume I want to turn down so it doesn't sound like you're yelling in your ear, because I'm going to give you some more volume on your mic, but I don't want you to kill your own ear by yelling at your own ear. So
good.
Oh, we're happy.
All right.
Your resonance is awesome, Bob. I mean, I like guys with beware of the baritone.
No, that's you, my man, Mr. Triple Threat. Okay.
So the
we were
refereeing.
There. Yeah, it was just really rough, And
I mean, do you want to talk about the ball first?
Yeah. Well, I do want to talk about the ball because I've done a 180 on the ball. Like, that is now my favorite ball company. Which I'll tell you about that.
Ruth Nelson.
I love Ruth Nelson, and I tell you what, the CEO of Baden is fantastic. I met him at AVCA. You can just the energy right away. We might be bringing them out to portions of Island Fest. We're rolling with Moulton this year, but we have other aspects, right? The coaches showcase and all that, where we might be working with Baden, just because I love it.
Right.
I love that light ball that Ruth Nelson has developed is just unbelievable. She's great. Love that company. But at the time, going back to
Arizona, yeah.
No, Baden's fall flat within a week. Like, that was the wrap. Like, you just can't keep the air in them. So anyway, but that's neither here nor there compared to what we kind of endured with this reffing staff. And at one point there was this joust between a back row setter and in a blocker, and I can't even remember what side we were on because you were sitting next to me, dude.
Yeah.
And it for us, we're not arguing that our team get the point or whatever it might be. Well, it's always the point now, but we're arguing that the game be called correctly. And so this play happens and there's no call.
Right. So drawing a picture for the audience, we're in row 1, right? And on serve receive, of course, the back row setter, who's right back, comes, and I guess she jousted and forgot. I don't know. She I
don't know. It was like she was trying to set kind of joust. I don't even know if she had made up her mind what she was going to do with that ball. But anyway, there's this moment of compression on this ball between this back row setter and the blocker. Were we the setter or we were the blocking team? Okay, yeah. So there you go. It really doesn't matter, right? And I'm like, whoa. Like, there has to be a call. And the ref's like, no, there's no call. And like, there's got to be a call. Like, we either block the set or this is a back row attack, and this was like the third or fourth call like this where you just felt like people really just don't know the rules. And so the head ref comes over, and she talks to them, comes up, and so I said, well, she's okay. What did you see? You see this. And I said, the thing is like, it's not possible in the game, in the realm of volleyball, for there to be no call here. And she goes, well, we'll be the judge of that. And I said, well, no, you're not the judge of that. The rules are the judge of that. And she goes, shut it. Right? And there was like kids standing around, and all the kids look at me, and I go, what'd you say? I said, shut it. She like doubled down. I was like, oh, okay, I got it. Okay, so now I mean, when the head of the snake does its thing, like, you know why the body's rotting at this point. It's like, oh, okay, now we understand. We understand. Right. This is child's play we're involved in for $27,000. Yeah. And, it's like, okay. And I ended up having, getting called in and having a meeting with the heads of the tournament, because I was like, guys, this is improper on so many levels. And of course that didn't really go anywhere. It's pretty much a waste of time. But that next day, so that was the next morning, I go in and meet them early in the morning before our matches and have the conversation. It's kind of like this gaslighting thing. So okay, so it's a waste of time. And we go through another day of this kind of same kind of stuff. Our teams are doing well, but it's just not fun. And on the way home, I said to you, we're walking, and it's like, 103, and there's like 3 trees between the convention center and our hotel. I look at you, and I just go,
it's baking out there.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
And it was like, we could be doing this in Hawaii. And you said, that. We could. And I said, no, we could. And, what was going through my mind is, why am I spending all this money to come to a place where my wife is from, by the way? No offense to Phoenix, Arizona has amazing teams, amazing clubs, has beautiful landscape if you're into the desert, which I am.
But they know their weather, so they know it's no offense taken.
Yeah, no offense to what I'm about to say, which is, why am I coming to the place that has zero foundation in the sport of volleyball to play what's supposed to be a major tournament, when they're telling me they don't care about volleyball by the way they ref the tournament? Like for me, which is why I've always been a USAV guy, is it has to be class. It's about class. It's about decorum. It's about culture. It's about class, right? And if you don't have those things, there is absolutely no way you can be elite in anything you do. And the thing about volleyball is, like, we're supposed to be all about those things, right? I would say a standard bearer for all sports in, writ large on these aspects of what volleyball is at least for us, right. I guess, OGs at this point, or maybe getting towards that stature, what we're supposed to be about and what we're upholding, but for sure what that USAV badge means, right? That means you're supposed to be the best in the world at these things, at the class, at the culture, at the decorum. And if you have no rules, literally, if your rules break down, if your laws break down, if your regulations break down, and they can break down because you don't have anyone to enforce them, right, then that brand is gone. Like that feeling is gone. Now,
but it's the rare combination of dictatorship and anarchy. It's like this group of people that are like, okay, now we're making it as we go, and then you have to listen to us.
Well, here's the thing, though.
Right.
The tournament used to be USAV. And as I'm walking next to you and I'm saying we could be doing this in Hawaii, I'm going, this is AAU now. This is this used to be like the pillar, the kind of tent pole of postseason USAV tournaments. But, when the folks passed away and the new people came on and whatever bought the brand and they reflagged it as AAU and then they moved it to Arizona. And then you're going like, why am I doing this?
Right.
Like, right? It kind of makes sense that it doesn't completely make sense, right? I mean, true. I think when you go and play in the AAU Nationals, that's a tournament that they are all in on, right? Amazing experience.
Yeah.
Top-notch referee, the size of that convention center alone is just literally awesome. But this is not that. Right? This is basically like a regional tournament. And why are we coming here? Like, what is in Arizona that has represented the that represents volleyball? Well, the answer is nothing. And then you don't really care about how your rules are being adjudicated, at least in my opinion. So there's no reason for me to come there. What culture or what food, music, culture am I going to be bringing my kids and introducing them to? Literally, my daughter was there, so it was literally my kid. That was a zero, right? Whereas like we just got back from New Orleans.
Yeah.
Galliani plays for SC Rockstar now. We went to New Orleans. That was like the greatest qualifier I've personally ever been to.
That was great.
It was amazing. Like New Orleans was incredible. Like who's been
and
keeping
like you
this
said,
a
class,
secret?
like checking all the boxes of all of those departments you were talking about, class, this, decorum, rules, everyone just having a good time, electric atmosphere. It checked all the boxes. I didn't want to interrupt, but I wanted to draw a picture for the audience, right? So for our audience, there's a huge gap between when regionals is over and before nationals begin. It's like 3.5, in some areas almost 4 weeks. So there's this thing where there's really no tournaments happening in multiple regions, which includes California, right? So Arizona, in my 10-year experience as a coach, since I just moved here, I've been coaching 26 years, but 10 years in California. In my experience, that was the only show in town. As far as like filling that gap.
Well, yeah, but even more than that, more than just filling the gap, because to get into USA Volleyball is extremely difficult to get into the national championship. It's unbelievable the level of play that we see in USAV, national level clubs. It's incredible. Like I said, just coming back from U18 Open. The girls, that team, SC Rockstar team, they were fortunate enough to get a bid out of that, and we're playing Houston Skyline, TAV. God, they were all
frogs.
They
right?
were all
frogs
I think they were all Texas clubs. But also being in that region, though, we had teams from all over, kind of southeast and whatnot. It was incredible. The team that I could not believe didn't even make it into gold bracket was Alabama. I wish I knew the name of this club. I think the starting 6, I think 5 of them were going Big Ten. Right. I couldn't believe that this team didn't even make it to. Because let me tell you a little story here. I know we keep going down rabbit holes, but that's what we do. So they're playing on the court next to us, and I'm watching them warm up, thinking, "Oh my God, this is the team we have to play next." I was just like, "Oh my God, these girls are like flying." I would say massive, except they were all sticks. Right. Like there was actually no like beef out of anyone. It looked like we were playing 6 oppos, and the oppo was a lefty who the dad. I was talking to the dad of the outside hitter, and she was going to Michigan. And I said, God, where's that right side going? And he goes, Butler. Everybody thinks that they got a steal. And like, no offense to Butler, I was like, yeah, they got a real one. They did. And again, I wish I remember these names, and I wish I could remember this club, because they were like, from like watching warmups when you're talking about, oh my God, they were incredible. They didn't even make it. They weren't even in the gold bracket. They were just filling space on that. They were, maybe playing for the silver bracket championship or something like that.
Well, they'll be there for the Lone Star. There's the Lone Star Classic. I think that happens the same time Red Rock happens. So, and there's different spots. Well, Lone Star Classic is if you've ever been there, that's more like a showcase for recruiters, but there are also bid spots open for that as well.
Well, Dallas happened. This is U18, right? So Dallas happened at the same time the NIT,
something like that.
The Triple Crown happened, so that was interesting. Those 2 events clashed there. But anyway, so we are, so we're in Phoenix, and I'm going, Hawaii has never had a postseason tournament. Hawaii is one of the most foundational regions in the history of volleyball in the world. It is one of the most winningest regions in the history of volleyball in the world, from a youth level to the college level. It's one of the very few schools, you could probably name them, I could probably get close, that has both female and men's multiple national championships. National championships. I mean, our girls haven't done that well of late, but let's not forget, we got a bunch of national championship banners up in the rafters, and the men are, been on top of the world for the last 10 years and multiple national championship banners. Okay, well, Wisconsin doesn't play boys.
Right.
Nebraska doesn't play boys.
I know.
Pitt doesn't play boys. Texas A&M doesn't play boys. These schools don't have.
Louisville.
We are.
Louisville? Yep.
Yeah, we are all in, right? In Hawaii, and then you would say Southern California, where we have other teams that have had both. Pepperdine and USC and UCLA come top of mind there, but maybe even. I don't know. I wonder, like UCSB. I wonder, how many teams actually have national championships in both.
Right.
Anyhow, so why am I coming here when I could be going there? When I could be going to Hawaii, and I'm opening the convention center door and I'm walking out into Waikiki instead of walking out into downtown Phoenix. And the reason was that no one had done it.
Right.
And the reason to that was, well, can't be done, or whatever, it can't be done, and obstacles.
Yeah, right.
And you got to look yourself in the mirror and go, well, maybe it hasn't been done because you haven't done it. Maybe you're supposed to do it. Who else is supposed to do it? I don't know, but let's try. And so started putting together a team. This is going back 4 years ago now, as it took us 2 years to get to year one, right? And we launched Island Fest, and it's the whole name is Hawaiian Island Volleyball Festival. We launched that in 2025 last year, and had 67 teams show up indoor. But the thing is that I wanted it to be about the ecosphere of volleyball. And I really wanted to have beach and indoor and grass happening at the same time. I think we're getting grass this year. The Hawaii State Championship, 4-man championship is joining the festival. But originally it was, how do I get AAU beach and USAV indoor to come under one banner, and both of those are today led by incredible individuals who put volleyball first, and they basically agreed, right? So we have AAU National Beach run by Denny Lennon. That happens right out there at Queens Beach is what the locals call it. Yeah, it's kind of right near the Duke statue, right to the left. But that's where the beach that the major NCAA championship happens on each year in February, like where SC and UCLA and actually Hawaii did really good this year. I think that was the one where they beat UCLA this year. That was, I think the island
for
almost
beach
flipped upside down. That was crazy.
Actually, LMU did the
who won this year? I don't know.
For beach, Texas Christian.
Won the
2025. 26 is going to happen in April.
No. They won in February. I'm talking about the tournament where they all come out in February.
Yeah.
Do you know? I don't know who won that.
I don't know, but I will say that Hawaii has superpowers when they play at home, Jason.
Right.
You would know a little something about that.
Well,
as a guy who was looking above the net, head and chest, as a middle blocker for U of H in '94. So is it actually? Let me just shut up for a sec. Do you guys have superpowers when you play at home?
Yes, because it's because of the fans.
Yeah.
Right. You
could have a 500 season, but play you guys at your house.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. See what happens.
Yeah. And everybody thinks it's because the Hawaii fans are so great and so supportive, but what they don't see is the 5 giant Samoan dudes waiting for you in the parking lot if you lose. No, I'm just kidding.
I've been there.
No.
Look, I played for a military team. There's plenty of those guys.
Totally,
the military teams are like Samoan.
I played with a Navy SEAL.
Those guys are always waiting outside, and they're like, "No, it's a barbecue, man. We ain't gonna hurt you. We got food." I'm like, "You're sure?" Because I'm from Brooklyn. I'm like, I don't trust you.
There's a small amount of military in Hawaii.
They're like, I'm like, are you gonna beat me up or feed me? They're like,
see those guys.
Both.
Yeah, I know.
We're gonna scrap. Then we're gonna get some food after. after that. That's Hawaii.
Yeah, well, actually, my biggest experience, another story, was playing in Samoa and playing each village in Samoa, and then Alan Allen played with each village, and I was like a redshirt freshman, and just looking across the court at Alan Allen, who I used to be his ball boy when he played in World League back in the day.
The heaviest,
one
of the heaviest handed hitters.
It's just, it's one of those Silence of the Lambs thing. It's like, if you're gonna knife me, just like be angry. But when someone's like smiling at you and destroying you, there's something very unsettling about that.
Have those lambs stop screaming.
Like they just exactly. There's just something very unsettling about that.
Derek Zimmerman told me stop slouching. I'll slouch if I want to. So that's one of the messages.
So Island Fest, like Matt, and I'm just like, why wouldn't we be doing this where it matters? That's just the way I feel. Right. And I know I'd catch heat for that, but I'm like, why aren't we doing this where it matters? Like, where we could be introducing people to one of the greatest volleyball cultures to ever exist in the sport. So that's what we started. And then through that, I started picking up all these stories, because I was talking to everybody. I was going deep. I was like going into the sticks of communities. I mean, of course, this is over the phone. This is through Zoom calls and things like that. But I was finding people, trying to get as much information as I could, and talking to people that have generationally been in the islands playing volleyball, and just kind of figure out like where things were, what was really needed by the community at large, and also by the volleyball community, what would help the clubs and what would help the teams there, and building the event from that aspect, which is, I think, how events used to be built. So in doing that was all these stories that even more solidified this belief of mine. One of them was, I kept hearing this name, Pete Velasco. Oh, well, Pete Velasco. Just at random conversations with people. I was like, who is Pete Velasco? I mean, I know a fair amount of volleyball, ran Volleyball magazine
Pedro?
for
Related
a bunch
to
of
Pedro?
years. Yeah, Pedro. Yeah, right. Pedro. Yeah, right. Pedro Pete Velasco. Right? Turns out, like, the short, long story is Big Daddy Hayne, Thomas Hayne, is watching this one guy play volleyball, where it's basically what the kind of like the Nauditorium is. It's actually also a war memorial. It's very strange, but it's kind of like a couple different names to it. But it's right there in Waikiki, and it's kind of like this walled-in pool that used to be really active. It's really beautiful, and I think they should bring it back to life, because I think it would be insane for people to actually use.
Commerce,
it'd be great for commerce, and I think especially tourists would just love it. They need to bring that back to life. But anyway, I guess it was like a parking lot, and from the stories I hear, it wasn't even all sand. It was like sand and gravel and asphalt mixed together. He sees this kid out there playing, and this kid is unbelievable. And he goes and introduces himself and is like, hey, how about you come over to the Outrigger Club and play on real sand? Right? That's a pretty good deal. Like, I could both imagine.
I accept,
I've had that offered to myself. I'm like, I want to go play over there. Beach club, let's go. And so that's what happens. Well, Pedro ends up becoming the first ever captain on the first ever U.S. Olympic team, playing in the first ever Olympics, which is Tokyo, in which
64,
in volleyball was a bona fide sport.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
And then Big Daddy kind of takes on from there, and he's captain, I think, the next two or something. I mean, Big Daddy's ridiculous. It's like 18 national championships, which again were a lot of those were AAU. It was very different back then. Right. We're inducting John Stanley this year. He's an 18-time All-American. Like, what?
Yeah. What
like
are we
the
waiting
whole
for?
system
That
was
should be
different.
first ballot
The whole system was well. This is the Hawaii Hall of Fame, and you know what? An 18-time All-American is not first ballot.
Wow.
Because you had Pedro Velasco and you had Big Daddy Hayne. If you are determined by the gods of volleyball to be one of the greatest men's player of all time, there's not that many. I keep telling myself I'm going to know the exact count, but I think it's less than 50. You get handed a trophy, and that trophy says Thomas Hayne on it. Like,
nice.
It's amazing, right? And both of these guys come from, I mean, you've seen the courts at Outrigger. What is it? 1,000 square feet of sand.
They have the kid court too,
on a rock,
which I think is the
sitting in the middle of the ocean, bro. As far as ways you can get from humanity, some reason these 8 rocks are a hotbed of volleyball in the world. World champions, Olympians, All-American, national champions. It's unimaginable.
Yeah. All of them. Tri Bourne was talking about that too. Yeah.
The last Olympics, the guy calling the Olympics was from Outrigger, Kevin
Wong,
right?
Yeah. Yep.
Tri Bourne's from
the
OCC,
Crabs, the McKibbins,
Crabs from
McKibbins,
OCP, and then who else?
The McKibbins.
I think there was like 4 players in the Olympics.
Yeah. It's wild.
4 people in the Olympics out of
Braceno? No,
6.
He played at Hawaii. No, Doug.
Yeah. Well, Carlos. But no. But I'm just saying, last Olympics alone.
Oh yeah.
On the beach, I think 4 of the 6 were all had played for Outrigger at one point.
Right.
It's just nuts.
It's a cool place.
Taylor got sick, right, and sent home. So that was another Outrigger guy who.
But got replaced by Tri Bourne.
Right, exactly. And you're like, something has to be fishy here. No, there's the stats. Like, it's like, God.
Well, it's either him or his brother Trevor, who's also out and outrigger.
It's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. So I'm taking all this. I'm looking now again, just to go back to my reasoning. Right, it's like I'm taking all this and I'm going, Phoenix. Like, okay, so that's what we did. We said, guys, I want you to come experience this. But then, the whole thing is like, I don't want you just to come to Hawaii to a tournament in Hawaii, right? I want you to come experience an expression of Hawaii volleyball. Like what are the elements that combine to make Hawaii such a special place in the history of the game? Like, why is that? And this goes back for me to where I was 15 years old playing soccer against Real Madrid, or I was 16 years old playing soccer against Real Madrid. Cut the story short, we lose 10-0. I'm on my bed in my hotel room. Of course, my parents can't afford to make the trip. Today people are like, I don't know if I want to send my 15-year-old to Vegas by her own. People. Dude, I'm in the middle of Madrid by myself, having just gotten crushed 10-0, and it was only 10-0 because they were nice and played like their third string.
I think at 6 it was like a mercy.
Oh yeah,
unofficial handshake.
For real. Yeah, no, I think the 6th goal was the one where the guy broke my ribs, so I got like cracked ribs because I was a goalkeeper, cracked ribs, and today would have been in the ER, but back then they're like, just sleep it off, and I'm going, we play soccer and they play a totally different sport called football. And the difference is football is a way of life. Football is a culture. The baker could have beat us. The mailman could have beat us. Everybody in this town plays football better than we do.
But that's the full circle.
Right. And I wanted to find a sport that I could play like that in America, and I found volleyball, and I found the place to do it, which was Hawaii. That's why I went to Hawaii. Hawaii volleyball is church. And so I want people to come and experience the church of Hawaii volleyball. So when we open this thing, we have the number 1 halau in, one of the number 1 halaus in the world. Nice. We'll see. Mary Monarch's coming up. They might win it again. Which is halau is like a hula. And talking to Kumu Keloa, I was like, because not many people. I had one person, Kaniala, who introduced me to Kumu. Kumu was in Japan. I was at the time in Hawaii taking meetings, and get the call like, hey, Kumo's got like 10 minutes for you. Can you get on the phone? Can I click over? For sure. I was actually walking in Ala Moana Mall, and this is someone I didn't even know if I get a chance to speak with. And she answers, of course, full of aloha. It's amazing, but it's you can never forget who these people are within the cultural hierarchy of Hawaii. And she says, tell me about what you're doing and why would you want us to do it? And it's pretty matter of fact. And I said, well, look, I want to create a tournament where people come and they get to experience what makes up Hawaii volleyball. Okay. And you can't do that without Hawaiian culture. And you guys are the greatest, amongst the greatest ambassadors of Hawaiian culture in the world. And I am not going to put up, as like kind of a cultural introduction, some fake tiki show. And also I keep hearing from everybody in the Hawaii, and listen, there's Hawaii and then there's Hawaiians, right? You can't get those things confused.
Right.
There's people from the islands and there are Hawaiians. Those are two different people, right? Two different, groups. There's Japanese and mix and hapa and all this, and then there's Hawaiians, right? These are so I'm talking about Hawaiians, right? And I in saying like that, there's always some kind of upset and ruffling of feathers when Hawaiian culture is not represented, or even worse, represented improperly in major events and particularly major sporting events.
Right.
There's no way for me to fix that unless I get the greatest examples of Hawaiian culture to participate. So, Kumo, I understand if the answer is no.
I get
But
it.
if the
Right.
answer is no, then I'm not going to have any regard if people come to me and say we did this wrong, because I'm trying to do it right. And she started laughing.
That's a great sales pitch, Jay.
She started laughing.
You kind of trapped her. Like,
I did.
Like, I know what you did. Like
She did. She started laughing. She's like, "Oh my god!" She's like,
She's like, I see what you did there. And,
Yeah.
And now I have to, because you
she's
got
like,
me.
and she was like, "We'll show up."
Right.
And that was incredible. And part of it was another part of the reason why I went to Hawaii is that I wanted to learn about a culture that wasn't white or black. I'm both, and I was tired of both of them. So I was like, let me go learn. I want to go learn.
Amen.
I want to learn something else, right? I want a life education. And so I studied under Hanani Trask, which you had to get permission just to even be in her classes. And she became, a lifelong friend and mentor of mine. And she loved two things: the Hawaiian volleyball, Hawaii volleyball, and Hawaiian people and volleyball. She loved volleyball, right? She always wanted to talk to me about volleyball. People were like, well, why is she always talking to him? Because there'd be lines of people waiting to talk to her outside her office. But because she loved volleyball, and she knew that I was, at that time also I was much more engaged with. Civil rights and civil rights movement and all that
Right.
kind of stuff. But anyway, so
Like you said, that's when we were caring about both back then.
yeah. And it was a culmination of, kind of all that seeped into the volleyball festival of like, look, and excuse the way I say this, but I literally did tell people this, especially people who were involved in the tournament that I knew didn't quite understand what it meant to have Kuma and the halal there. I was like, guys, like, this isn't like coconuts, dude. This is not that. This isn't, look, there are coconuts part of the there are flame and fire dancing and all that, but there's very different presentations of that. And when I tell you, when the drums started, because they, brought the thing, as I told Kuma, I said, like, listen, this is hello. Welcome. Glad you're here. Let's go to war.
I like it.
Which is how it's always been, like warrior culture.
It's how it should be.
Right? It's how warrior culture. One of us is going to die at the end of this.
Right.
So me welcoming you, right? Me bowing into you, right? Me shaking hands with you before, let's just say like the Western equivalent,
Right.
which is the UFC fight, has no bearing on the fact that I am going to try to kill you in 2 minutes.
Right.
But it's class. It's decorum. Right? And I wanted people to experience that at the height of Hawaiian culture.
Yeah.
So when they came in and the drums started up and the welcome started and the power, it has a power to it. It's not like Mai Tais and look at the hook. No, like
No,
it
this isn't a
grips
vacation.
your soul.
This isn't a vacation.
No, it grips your soul, and you're like, oh, what? Oh, this is about to go down, and that's how it is, and that's when you say like what the advantage is for Hawaii playing at home. That's what happens to teams that come and play.
Right.
Is
they play as if their life depends on it.
Yeah. It's just a different heightened. Those games are just the feeling, the vibration is different. Not many places you're going to play in front of 10,000 people. That alone is a vibration, right? Playing in front of that many
amazing,
people.
Dude.
But then you add on the culture, right? So that's what we're trying to recreate with Hawaii, which means bringing in all kinds of community, just pillars of the community and giving back to the community, because no one in Hawaii is going to support you if you're just kind of out there for self and you're not representing anything much bigger than yourself. They kind of
detect that. They kind of see that
right away. Right. Everybody does. And so, this whole concept of, playing for something bigger, which has actually been the motto of my foundation since 2001. Play for something bigger is what we started, when we used to do the JO out there. But, the JO was just fun and celebrities and drinking and having some fun and making some money and giving it.
But it was consistent with what that culture was. It was, right? Exactly. Like it was the California culture. You did it in New York and
started
and it was consistent with, like you said, the atmosphere and that level of festivity.
Wanting to give the pro players like maybe just a little podium to stand on in terms of getting in some of the fun magazines and some of the fun press with us people or just different stuff.
Everybody won. I mean, what more could you ask for? You're in a situation where like nobody loses. The participants, the people who ran it, the models and the pros who mixed it up or whatever. It was just a big win for everybody.
So many great relationships. There's a lot of volleyball players that got agents out of that, out of those from.
Well, it was one of the 3
side
times I met you. I met you in New York, right? Mm-hmm. You were doing the soaps for a minute, right? And I was actually in my freshman year at Marymount. I was a returning adult student, so I was looking at. I was at Prohibition where like all my children used to do karaoke on Mondays, and I ran into you a bunch of times. And then you played New York Urban with the NYU guys. So it's one of those things where like I like
Arthur
this
guy.
Chen. I'm like greatest
Arthur anchor Chen. In New York.
New York won, baby.
New York
Arthur
won.
Chen.
Arthur
New York
Chen.
won.
you remember? I don't know because this is a little after that, but I don't know. I still have the shirt. Is because Chinese name, so he has the apostrophe. Like it's like CHI, I think apostrophe and
Chen.
Yeah. And then at one point they made him with they made shirts with his name on it with a red F as the apostrophe.
Oh, dear.
Because he was out on a live shot, and the whole thing was going on with what was it? Sirius Radio? What's his name? Howard Stern. I think he was getting divorced or something like that. And he sent his guys out in the middle of the live shot. Behind him, there were all these signs and da da da. And I was like, they were like basically playing the case out in public using New York One's. I think it was New York One because I know he was at a couple different networks. Live shot to do it and. Arthur told me a story. He goes, below the camera, he gives like the cut call with his hand, and he turns around and goes, "What the right?" And then they're like,
"We're still on, Arthur."
Off. They're like, "There goes what happened to the mild-mannered Chinese guy? I guess that's over." And he turns back. And this cameraman is just staring at him with big eyes because the cameraman didn't see the cut sign, and all went live.
Oh my God!
Yeah, so he became the most notorious, newsman in New York for a minute there.
And New York One is like, we're not firing you for this. We don't
also
know.
the best outside hitter of any newsman in New York.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely. Yeah,
him and John Stossel.
Yeah, Stoss still playing. Can't believe he's got to be close to 70 and he's still out there. And
is he?
Yeah. Shout out to John Stoss. There wouldn't be 2 beach courts. He tore down the one, built 2. I think they fundraised like $110,000 and in New York fashion in like 17 days. You ever go to New York and you don't see a skyscraper and you come back like 6 months later on vacation and you're okay, that's a building where they come from.
I used to have a view.
Dude, that's how they did the beach courts. Tore down the clunky wooden one, and built 2 flat ones. It's absolutely beautiful. We're here twofold, right?
Yeah.
And I know you want to get the other thing in there, because normally you and me, we could just talk all day, but I think I'm trying to remind myself we do have a little bit of an agenda, right? So before we hop onto the other, I want you to just tell the audience how the first year went for the festival. You said there were 60 teams.
67 indoor, and then we ended up with 38 outdoor, 38 beach, right? Which was really cool.
That was great.
You know, I was like, if we end up at 40 and 8, that would be great. But, you know, it's because oddly enough, there's no high school beach volleyball in Hawaii. It's just so weird. And Leah Young has been, you know, been really at the front of the ship on that, and I think maybe it's starting now. I saw something just briefly online that looked like she's working with Kamehameha, I think, and it looked like they were getting ready for something. I assume it's to play another high school team, but you know, for a while she would have like, okay, I got this high school team, but there's no one to play, and so anyway, that I didn't know how many beach teams we get, but then, you know, it ended up being close to 40. Today, we have 155 teams. Well, 160. I haven't even registered mine. I haven't even registered ours yet. But you know, so 160 teams registered for Island Fest, you know, and we'll probably pick up a whole bunch. We'll probably be close to 200 by first whistle. In June. That's June 11th. And it's really cool because some of the more competitive clubs like SG Elite, SC Rockstar City, Sports Academy.
I remember Houston Stars.
Houston Stars came from Texas. Yeah, I was just talking about the California ones. But over 60% of the teams, like the whole thing is flip-flop, 63% of the teams, as of yesterday, I ran the numbers, are coming either international or from the mainland.
I like it.
Right? And the thing is that we did this whole thing. It was like Hawaii versus the world. Last year...
Next level played each other in the finals,
Yeah, last year, I think, it was like 8-4 gold medals for Hawaii.
Yep.
Right? And the thing is, we have boys, too. Really high-level boys. And I think SAS is the U16.
Superpowers, though. Superpowers, Jay. You know, Hawaiian home game.
Yeah.
It's just like, ugh.
Yeah. Well, I think that, there's something real to that, too, because I was talking to Jeff Nygaard about it, too, is just like trying to win the night in Hawaii is really difficult.
Yeah.
And anyone who's, you know, played in USAV tournaments or you know, multi-day tournaments and tried to win.
Or played NCAA where you had to visit.
You have to go back to back.
Visit Hawaii, yeah.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is that there's the youth tournaments, or like, you know, I went and played with Balboa Bay 2 years ago. We won the 50s gold medal.
Right.
And that's a 4-day tournament. So a 3 or 4 day tournament, you have to win the night.
Yes.
Like, winning the day is one thing, but you have to win the night. You got to get rest. You got to get home. You got to get to sleep. If you lose the night, you are not winning that tournament eventually.
Right.
In other words, you can go out night 1 and maybe you win night 2.
Yeah.
You can go out a little bit night 2 and maybe you win day 3. You're not winning day 4.
Yeah,
it's not happening. It's
I agree with you. Like, listen, guys out there, all of those people that see my boy Eugene out like salsa dancing at the Copa before a tournament. Don't try that at home. I mean, right? Everybody's like, Eugene did it. He's fine. I'm like, those guys are unicorns, and they need. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
They're outliers, and we need to take them to the lab.
Tiger Woods,
right? We need to take them to the lab. Or John Jones.
Perfect example.
How about John Jones?
Yeah, I'll take Tiger Woods though.
The guy told Daniel Cormier, an Olympian, that I snorted all weekend and whipped your. He said it was a hell of a weekend.
I mean, there can be a point which I experienced.
But don't try that at home. That was my point. Like those are what we would call outliers, right? Like we were talking about Fallon. Remember Fallon from Moana, and talking about like her energy level she can sustain from the beginning of the match to the end. Where like if that were any of us, that big wave would crash. Like it gets so high where when it crashes, you can't recover. But there are. you know, like, yeah.
Listen, there are some guys and some personalities which I have so much respect for, and they're just locked in. They're just so locked in.
Just animals, different animals.
Some people, like I will say myself, since it was so long ago, I think the statute of limitations have definitely run out on me.
Yes.
But I remember as a young player, like going, dude, this is too easy. I wonder if I could do this drunk. I wonder if I could do this, right? And try and doing it. Like you're just like, I am going to handcuff myself and still see if I can go win this, NCAA match or whatever. I tried all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. No, because
I was even
the
snuck
mission.
Stuff. I remember my Brazilian senior, supposedly, who was supposed to be taking care of me, Rico Guilherme, handing me like a pouch of stuff and going, here, freshman, take this.
Oh,
and
God.
I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I'm like, oh my God. Like my heart is just like, literally, I thought I was going to die. And it was raw. It was like, I guess, dried guaraná, like raw guaraná. Oh my God. Yeah. That's as close as I probably ever got to. And that was crazy.
Yeah, I actually never even smoked a cigarette, so that was never my thing. I just like to sing, and
there was a bunch of guys.
And I'm from Brooklyn, so we drink a lot of vodka.
LAVBC. That's another point, right? Guys are just kind of like, oh, let me handcuff myself, let me do this bad thing to myself, and then see if I can still go out and win. There's a weird mentality that can sink in. That kind of goes, wow, let me be a real warrior and stab myself in the ribs and then go out into the gladiator. It's like, but it's that moment, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's that, but you're doing it to yourself, right? And so I get it, been there, done it. Don't do it. It's stupid.
Thank God that I was the kind of person that did all of that after. You told me one time a few years ago, he says, Jason, you're the type of guy that when you finally get the mansion you deserve, you pick up a brick and throw it through your own window.
I did tell you that.
So I'm kind of the guy that would everybody's like, the ref's like, good game. And I'm like, go.
What does that mean? What's that supposed to mean? Yeah, what's that supposed to mean?
So thank God I wasn't one of those guys that doomed myself before it started. I was the weirdo that always was just off the page after it was done.
I always end up in tears on your podcast.
That was the best line you've ever said to me.
Good memories. Yeah.
How well do you know me, though? You said I would really pick up a brick and throw it through my own window. Well, because you're like, Jay, you got to get out of your own way.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, I used to not be able to stand you. And this is before I even knew you, and it was like, God, this guy just makes me think too much. Because you would some of the stuff you say, I'm like, Jay, come on, man, it's not that way, it's this way. And then you'd say something like, oh shit, maybe it could be that way. I'm gonna have to think about this for a week, and I don't like that because I will think about things for weeks, just weeks and weeks and weeks.
And I apologize.
No,
because sometimes you're like, he has a point, and then sometimes I'm like, Jason, you just took a week. I want a week of my life back.
Yeah. I mean, it's I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you've said over the years that I've definitely now stolen, and sits in my pocket for when I need it. But again, okay, getting back to the Hawaii thing, just to wrap that up. So it was an incredible first year, and then basically in part of that, right, was our logo. So we have this logo, which is Island Fest. So it's a big IF and has the Hawaiian Islands in it.
Let's see if I got that. I pull that up. Maybe I could pull that up. Okay, keep going.
Oh yeah, we might, because I think I sent the one thing which actually has Amalia Deliri on it, who is one of the top hula dancers in the world, and her mom is the kumu, is Keloa, and then and also Amalia on the drums. It's just fascinating. So what happened was, I saw her in Instagram, and I saw it totally randomly. No one sent it to me. I found it. I don't even know how I found it. It was like a Polynesian website. And I saw this girl playing with other girls' drums, and it was like in a botanical garden. And I went, "Oh my God, this is Island Fest. Right. This is like war drums. This is incredible. This is the vibe of what we need." And then, a guy who's now my dear friend, family ohana to me now, is Kanihala. He goes, "Oh, that's Kumu's daughter."
Let's go.
I went, no way.
Come on.
I went, no way. He goes, yeah. I like.
Let's go to camera one. Show everybody this.
I wish I could have seen the video. I mean, and she was just named Miss Hawaii.
Yes.
She was named Miss Hawaii right before the tournament last year.
There it is. There's a good shot of it. Family culture thing.
Talk,
it's on.
Talk about a face that launched 1,000 canoes, dude. That,
yes.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Unbelievable family. Unbelievably talented. I wish we had video of actually her playing. It's just.
I could put it in later.
This
is the live version. We could put in whatever.
Yeah, we got to.
We could put in whatever we want after this.
The talent is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And they're getting ready for Mary Monarch like right now. It takes like 6 months or something to get ready for Mary Monarch. But anyway, so that all happened. And so this IF logo, right? And the whole thing, the reason, so we had 2 logos. We had another cool logo. This looked like a kind of deconstructed coconut, and it's got a really cool. But I started really, thinking about it and created this IF logo. It's more of a surf, kind of more modern surf kind of forward logo. But it was the whole idea of if. Like, well, you can't do that in Hawaii because the teams won't come. Yeah, well, what if they do? Well, you can't do that in Hawaii because, there's not enough space to get to a huge tournament, indoor. I'm like, you guys... What if there is? I mean, you're not really thinking about this right. Orlando isn't an $800 million tournament because it gets played in one weekend.
No.
It gets played throughout the week. So there was a little bit of the thinking even within the islands, like no one was like thinking in the sense like, no, you just roll the weekends. So that was something that was interesting from there. And then there was an other idea that was like, well, teams won't go because, they go to the national championships, or they go to Orlando, or they go to Phoenix. And, I was like,
but that's the gap.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I was like, okay, so you're telling me that the arm wrestle is between, do you want to be in Phoenix or do you want to be in Honolulu? I'll take that arm wrestle all day long, especially for volleyball culture.
What?
Especially for volleyball culture. There is no volleyball culture in there. Volleyball culture, dude, you get done playing on the beach and you go surfing. So why do you think all these Hawaiians are so strong? Right?
Yeah, they're just
they go play volleyball on the beach all day, and then they go surf and get a whole nother shoulder workout. And everyone's just playing, It's because the kids are outdoor, which is why I think Texas kills us, because those kids are outdoor playing all day. Yeah. We don't really do that anymore in LA, right? We have to manufacture it. We got to go to the gym. We got to more manufacture it. But that's also why, where you live, the South Bay has always been so good. Same culture, out on the beach, go surfing, right? All these kind of things. You're building your core. You're getting used to being flipped upside down underwater. All these things that at the end of the
only
day
place
make
we
you
see
a
the whales
athlete.
are like deep in the ocean. We don't see any whales on the beach. We see them in the ocean here in the South Bay. Right. Ain't nobody screaming Free Willy on the sand. Right. they see one
very
in the ocean.
Active, right? Physically fit, therefore beautiful. Populations, right? And that's what you get in Hawaii.
But let's not forget about the vacation dynamic.
Yeah,
that's like, let's say parents.
No one's coming for 3 days to Hawaii. Well, our tournament is 4 days, right? So we go 3 days of competition, 1 day of play. Right. So what happens is teams come in, and this is where we do it old school. I hate this new format where we go to a tournament. We take kids, competition families to a tournament, and you're out in the first 2 hours. It's a 3-day tournament. You are done in the first 2 hours because you didn't pool out. So now your tournament's over. You're playing for nothing in a sense, right? So we don't do that. So what happens is in day one, and this year, so it'll be the 11th, 6/11. We come in. That's just a seeding day. We come in, which also gets us to our next conversation. But the seeding day is clean. You come in. You might have a number on your name, but then you're gonna finish that seeding day wherever you finish, right? And then that seeding goes in. So then the next day, which is 6/12 this year, it's play day. It's our 1 day of play. We call it adventure day. Go out, go learn to surf, go learn to snorkel. We have our welcome luau on that day. We're doing actually the night we do the induction into the Hall of Fame at Outrigger. We do that night. The kids go out there, do something you've never done before, right? And then we come back on the 13th for pool play, and then 14 is bracket play. So it's a 4-day tournament. That said, the average stay is 5.5 days, almost 6. It's like 5.57 right now, right? So I mean, no one's finishing their games on the 14th in Hawaii and going, hey, let's get on that red eye.
Right. No.
Well, like we do in every other tournament.
Yes. We got to bounce. Like,
yeah, I'm not
like,
trying to stay, no offense.
Dude,
Again, I'm not trying to stay in Milwaukee an extra day.
Jay, I worked for you for 3 years, and I told you, I'm like, Jay, I'll give you money out of my own check, because I'm not like one of those guys that
get me out of here.
Yes, no. I mean, I'm like, there's some days I'm like, yo,
you go to Prince's house day 2,
and I'm driving,
and you leave after the tournament in Minneapolis.
Wow.
you know,
and you know what's cool though, because before and after the tournament, things can happen. Like last year, the Hawaiian Fest, I called center court for you. I was in Maui first.
Oh wow!
My wife's birthday, it was like she's like,
I didn't even remember that.
And we hiked. And I know there was a fire there, and we hiked near there, and we spent 4 days, actually doing like kind of the Montego Bay thing, except in Hawaii. Wow. Yeah. Like I'm saying, the hotel, the pool, the little drinks with the whatever. Exactly. So I did that before.
So yeah, and to that end, I didn't know you did that, but we had so many people that did do that now we have Southwest is giving unbelievable tickets during this time period. In between the islands, because of course the volcano's going off.
Right. Yeah.
So a lot of people want to go see. Not me.
Crazy people.
I'm not going to see that. I don't understand that. I'm not going to see that. I've had friends.
I'm not like that.
I just don't think.
Jay, we can do it. We just don't want that. That's not like swimming with sharks. Like and petting sharks. Like a shark is not going to treat you like an emergency snack.
Yeah. I don't believe nature is predictable. I just don't. Right? I'm like,
Beautiful.
if that thing has one burp, you are coming back the freckledest mother. You know what I mean? Those freckles last a lifetime, bro. And it happened. The thing has just happened. I was watching a video, a whole bunch of people watching because Kamala was there. She was there with her family watching. So anyway, I like the video, so now we get all these volcano videos. And just like a couple weeks ago, all these people are looking for the lookout. It's pretty far away. They're not the idiots that are down, kind of closer. They're up and kind of the official lookout. Dude, these people
start your healthy fear?
Running and ducking because all of a sudden flaming pebbles are coming at them.
Where's your healthy fear?
I don't know.
Where's your healthy fear?
I don't understand.
I was having an Independence Day flashback. I remember Independence Day, the movie, where the people in LA are partying on the roof. Woo, woo, the aliens are coming. I'm just like...
It's true.
We can have a whole nother podcast about the belief in the competence of mankind. Jason,
you're making me think of one of my favorite books, De-Evolution. You got to read De-Evolution. It's unbelievable. Such a great book.
On another note, I did read Captain's Class. That was
you did?
A birthday present you gave to me, and
isn't that fascinating?
I don't even like to read, and I liked it.
Right.
I'm not like everyone's like, oh my god, I love to read. I don't like TV. No,
I should have put
I'll go so far as to say
Bay.
I love TV. And I don't like TV, but I read that.
What if you put 1,000 on Tampa Bay that year, right? When Brady switched, right?
That'd have been easy.
That book told you. That book said put 1,000 on Brady. He's going to win it. And sure enough, he did.
Well, I thought he was going to win it because the culture and the mentality made other people who want to win a ring be like, yo, I don't need a big contract. I just want to play 1 year with that guy. Like Ndamukong Suh, who hated Brady's like, look, I don't want to retire without a ring. All right, they're like, we don't have. Yes, the 1 year.
See?
Johnson, the guy from Pittsburgh. Not Johnson. What was the guy's
Harris?
name?
Or was it
The wide receiver that left with like no shirt, just took his shirt off.
Yeah.
No, but that dude was still catching balls. Gronk unretired, right? So there was, and then you got the Harvard boy playing backup tight end, right? So you had this people that understood Brady was coming there,
right?
And they were like that, they're worried about cap room, and the guy's like, so some of these players are like, dude.
Yeah.
First of all, Tom Brady's gonna do the discount because him and Giselle make so much money. Like the reason why Tom Brady had good players because he did something called the Brady discount. Like he didn't want him. He didn't need the max contract. He's not like I'm holding out for this money. He's like, nah, I'll take this contract. Make sure Gronk gets paid. Make sure Welker gets paid, or whomever, or Edelman.
Right.
And that was the Patriot way, which he extended to at least for a couple of years. Bruce Arians, great coach. Yeah, man. Put your like you said, from what we read and what we saw, bet on Brady.
That's what it said.
Bet on that. Bet on El Capitan.
El Capitan. Yeah.
So
yeah,
let's Guys, message Jason for more about the Hawaiian Festival. I was there last year.
Yeah, HawaiiVBFest.com.
I called Center Court for a bunch of matches with some legends who jumped in with me to do the analytical.
You had Sudoku?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Louis,
then Kamalu, of course.
Yeah.
Whitaker, very young, beautiful mind.
Yeah.
You jumped in.
Coach.
Yeah, it was just great to just talk during the timeouts or like between sets and just talk about the island and the culture. And then they're doing the color for me during the matches. It was just one. I was like, I'm getting paid for this.
We're gonna do this big time. We're gonna load you up this year.
So let's talk a little bit about SCVA. Let's talk a little bit about USA Volleyball.
Yeah.
You ran into a situation, and this is probably not the first season or preseason that this has happened, and just very much like you talked about the Allen Fest and how it started in Arizona. The floor is yours. Walk me through, maybe not the contemporaneous from 3 years ago, but walk me through this year. But if it's connected to previous, then talk about that too. The floor is yours, Jay.
Yeah. Well,
I actually have the letter. I'm just going to put up on
Yeah. And for me, it's all, again, it's all connected, because I'm a USAV guy, always have been, love AAU, played in tons of AAU beach events, but in terms of indoor, I've always been USAV guy.
Actually, Jay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Can you reach that piece of paper in the printer?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, that's what we were supposed to talk about, but sometimes we don't care. All right.
Yeah, okay. And so, especially putting together Island Fest. Island Fest started out as an AAU indoor because it's super easy to do. And we ran into a lot of issues with the folks running the regional AAU shop there indoor. We're always working national with Denny, and the national is just one of my favorite people in volleyball. Incredible event, mind.
It's good human beings too.
All that. Yeah, just amazing.
Good human beings too.
He's like one of my ancillary high school coaches, so I've known him almost my whole life. And I was like, then John was slated to become, because again, it was like 2 years leading up to year one, become the president of USA Volleyball, which was happening. Was just happening. It was going to happen, and it did happen during the course of all this. And I was like, we're going to go USAV indoor, which was interesting because it's a little harder to work with USAV because you have to check more boxes. So I don't say hard in a bad way at all. It's when you have to check boxes, it creates accountability. And so we're going through that process and took some meetings with them, Zoom meetings. Actually, like when we were I think we were at the Big South, is when we were just like, okay, everybody was like, okay, we'll do this. Because the other big stumbling block was, were they going to work with AAU? And, was that going to be okay? And I had to explain that, kind of how it would work. Like the festival is just the festival. These two of all the events are actually separate, run by different directors, right? And then over the top of it sits the festival, kind of tent. And so everyone was like, okay, we see it. And John, who had always supported the Invitational when I was running that, brought the entire U.S. team out. One time, our 6-man team, the Magnan team, played the U.S. team 6-on-6 on the beach. That was awesome.
That must have been great.
That was great, especially we had to flip a coin for Rich Lamborn because he was technically a Magnum, but he decided to play for USA. That was sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
It was awesome though. It was so great.
He sold out for the gold.
He sold out for the gold.
He
sold his brothers in stash out. I'll never forget that. He can't say anything though. His arms are too big. Anyway, it was just magic day, and I think they're just kind of used to the quality of events we do, and so that's what we did with IM Fest, and then kind of it was also coming out of this period, right, where the whole COVID period, right, where USA Volleyball SCVA at the time. And of course, Ann has just passed, who was the absolute lioness of Southern California volleyball. And,
we're talking about
Ann Davenport.
Right.
She just passed, put tens and tens of thousands of kids into college and playing volleyball in college. And, no one could say enough about what she did to raise the level of the sport, I would say, on an international level, because, the size of what became SCVA, the power in terms of the number of athletes and number of great national championship level teams and clubs and all that coming out of SCVA. It's very recent that there's so much more publicity, and of course with social media, the glow from all of these regions, whether it be Nebraska, Wisconsin, Texas, and all that, it feels like so much. Guys, there was just decades and decades and decades and decades where no one even knew where those places were in the sport of volleyball, right? It's Hawaii and California that built the game of volleyball in America, and you can just count the number of national championships at UCLA alone to know that. What is it, like 17 or 18 men's?
Oh, well, for the
just
men.
for the men's,
yeah,
just for the men's, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy. So anyway, what she did and what she created in the sports careers as for athletes, and then the business careers for those of us who have gone on to create clubs and things like that. I mean, it's really hard to put into words what she's done for volleyball. So
no doubt.
Blessings to her family, and God
I
bless
just found out about that a couple of days ago from you.
Yeah, for everything that she's done. This is incredible. So at this time, okay, USAV, if you were to read their websites, were saying we are going to compete within local, in accordance with local and state law, right? Everyone was saying that at that time. This was COVID, right? Okay. And I think Ann had something going on. She was a little bit difficult to get a hold of, is what I was hearing, and we were trying to figure out, well, what are we going to do as a region? My club was very young at the time, maybe like 2-3 years old. I mean, this was an existential crisis for us. And then all of a sudden, the guys that created PVL popped up. And it was like, well, we are 100% going forward with the season. And you and I used to joke, used to laugh, and I would always say, well, south of the Manhattan Beach Pier, there is no COVID, right? Because essentially you get into more and more conservative country,
right?
And
that's how. I mean, we're going to skip that, but we do know that it was one of those things where it is over here.
Mm-hmm.
The subject's over here.
Yeah.
What are my guys saying? What are your guys saying? I'm over here, and like you said, south of the pier, all the way down to Orange County.
Yeah. Which is where these teams mostly were that came up, with the PVL Coast and I think Wave and Saddleback and whatever. And then so Ki Yi, who's the director of the SCSN region now, right? That's where he first pops up as the director of this PVL. And from the beginning, it was a fairly odd thing, because it was a fairly subjective, randomized who got into PVL. There was like PVL, I know, was it platinum and gold or something like that? There was two different levels. It was bifurcated. So there's already a bit of kind of elitism put in there.
Yeah, so for the audience, PVL was like the level above the rest of them. It was like this like this top 36 team format.
Yes and no. I mean, what happened, or let's just say what the perception of what happened was, okay, I'm just saying the perception.
Right.
The perception was that SCVA was dragging its feet, not knowing what to do. And of course, there was a ton of legal ramifications. I had a mom on, one of our competition family moms, who was the director of tracing at Children's Hospital. We had, several lawyer families within the club going, dude, you're not, are our kids going to play? You're not going to play our kids. The liability, and there was a certain faction just thought that COVID was the death knell of civilization. And, you had all these different factions. And I had a Zoom call. I forget, I was in a hotel, so I remember. But, and I just said, like, look, let me just say this. Volleyball is not going to stop volleying because of COVID. That is just not going to happen.
No.
And you might have a judgment on that, or you might want to get upset with me at that because, bearer of bad news for those who thought everyone should be cowering their houses and this was the end of civilization.
Right.
There was a lot of emotions caught up in that. And I was like, look, you can think of me what you will. You could think of the sport of what you will when I'm here.
But the reality
is this sport is not going to stop. It's not in the nature. It's not in the character. It's not in the culture of this sport to stop playing because for some people, this sport is a way of life. I don't mean financial. I mean going back to what I was talking about with Spain and soccer.
No, volleyball is life.
Yeah. And so this is just what we do. Like, you're not going to stop making bread. You're not going to stop being a banker. We're not going to stop playing volleyball.
And that's the logic, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to sell Vons they can't sell food, right? You're not going to.
Well, they tried. Yeah.
Well,
no, I know.
It was weird because you had this. It was weird.
41% of black businesses went out of business forever. Let's not forget. They told a lot of people what to do.
It's weird because you had this line to get into Vons or Pavilion or whatever you want to call you phony bougie people. And when you go in, you're only allowed to go up one aisle first to get to the rest of the aisles. And the one aisle is where they're selling alcoholic beverages. It was just like, it was alcoholic beverages. And I'm just like, you got people that are like, like recovering whatever, and in order for them to get their food, they have to walk past this. They have to do this long walk. I mean,
you're not supposed to see that.
I'm just veering for a minute. Then we get back to that.
You're not supposed to see these things,
right? Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see the guy? Did you see the guy with the ram's head around?
Yes.
It was like.
Or the welder's mask. Or the welder's mask.
Yeah. The scuba. Yeah. No, full labyrinth.
No, but the. Okay, so you drew the picture post volleyball dynamic.
That's what happened, and reports were like that Ann was actually in Hawaii somewhere. There was some stuff going down, some family stuff going down, and with all the conversations were all over the place. There was just a huge fog, and then PVL goes, "We're playing,
right?
We are playing." So then it was like, whoa, wait a minute, like for those of us who know something about what the charter was I guess you'd have to say now for SCVA, like Ann gets to decide who Ann is. Like, that was literally in the charter. Like, that's why no one could do anything about it. And so, like, what is this? What magic is this? Like, what do you mean you're just going to pop up? And they were big clubs. Like, they were, these clubs down south are big and they're very good. They're talented. Big names, Troy Tanner. I mean, the biggest names in the game in their clubs. They were like, no, we're playing. I said, oh my God, okay. Talked to a few other directors of, big, well-established clubs. Like, okay, well, this is happening. And we had a very good team. It was my daughter's team. They were very good. They were top 10 team, top 5. They were 5, and when the shutdown happened, which I think was March 11th, it was, we had a kid, and the dad goes, well, don't be too hard on her. She has a fever. And I go, what do you mean she has a fever? Why didn't you tell us she had a fever? One of our setters. And that day, everyone goes, everybody basically drops like flies. And then the news is like, oh, there's this thing called a man ate a bat. We're like, what? Ozzy Osbourne ate one every concert. We didn't get COVID.
A bat dog.
Yeah, no. So okay. So anyway, let's not get it. Let's stop because we'll go way down the hole on that one.
Bat dog.
Okay, yeah, but I don't think it was a bat. I don't think it was a Chinese man eating a bat. Leave the Chinese alone. So
we're editing this part out, dude.
And leave the bats alone too. Anyway, I bet you it was a black bat. Anyway, the black bat was eaten by the Chinese man, and we all got. So anyway, that happened, right? So we went through it. We were like, "Oh, this is real." Man, it was like felt terrible. Anyway, so now it's like we're playing, and so that's what I told my parents. I go, look, dude, it's either play or sit. If you sit, your kids aren't going to play in college. If you sit for 2 years, you're a wash. And we had kids that were going to go play. 60% of that team is now going to play in college. Okay, 60% of that specific team that I was like, guys, it's kind of now or never, right? And so we had this one team that jumped in. It was that team. I think they were 13 at the time. They jumped into the PVL. And then we had another team that I think that they were like 12, or maybe they were 12 at the time. And they were like a new team, but they were really good. And they were like, but they had started in like Division 9 of SCVA, right? Because what happened was the PVL, to what you're saying, kind of took the top teams. There's a deal. Some deal got made where instead of PVL rushing ahead and maybe taking all of SCVA, which was they were at one point trying to do, and was like, okay, let's work together. And so the PVL launched with these kind of upper teams, and then is like, quote unquote, SCVA had all the bottom teams. And now this leadership with Ki was kind of embedded, okay, in this relationship. We go, and this team that was in like 9th division, they're just crushing it. 25-2, 25-4, 25-7, right? So when it comes to the end of the season, we're like, can you please let them into the PVL? They're like, okay, we have one slot. That Division 9 team ended up winning PVL gold with like hardly dropping a set, right? Wow. Our other team, whatever, they just stayed up in that other division. And this is where we first started seeing this thing where like, how could a Division 1 team like have a losing record, but then stay in Division 1?
Yeah,
it was a strange
this dynamic of how it protects
algorithm.
itself.
Algorithm being used. But what you essentially were looking at was the destruction of the open game. Golf, tennis, volleyball, they're two things. They're club sports and they're open sports.
Yep.
Right? Open means someone can show up with their bag of sticks to the golf course and qualify.
There it is.
As an amateur to the U.S. Open.
That's open. Yeah, hence the term.
An open means some kids can come from, some 6'9" lanky dude, and this other kid we haven't heard about could show up in Manhattan Beach and qualify out of nowhere.
Who's this kid? Yeah.
And later end up in the Olympics and whatever. Phil has 7 volleyballs on that pier at this point, right?
Yeah.
But that's the beauty and the nature of an open sport, is that it's supposed to be open to registration, or open to play, open to competition, right? However that's termed, right?
And then let meritocracy take its course.
You can go from Compton to Roland Garros, bro.
Right. Yep. Yeah.
That's what an open sport allows you to do.
You can go from LSU to
being
the number 1 team in the world,
can't
right?
Just jump into NBA.
Right.
Can't just jump into football. Can't just jump into NFL. You can't just jump into the MLB. These are closed sports.
Right.
Tennis, golf.
These are opens.
Volleyball. These are open sports. That's our culture. That's who we are, right? And so that aspect is kind of gone more and more away from the indoor experience. Right? It used to be more and more part of that experience. So what was happening is this bifurcation, right? And then what started seeping in. So then the next year, it's like kind of everyone made nice, and it was back to SCVA, but Ki, who had come in from the PVL, and a few other people were now kind of heading SCVA. We're directing the region. And what seeped in was this... it's just, you got to call it what it is. It's manipulation, right? It's this manipulation of a point system, manipulation of standings, and what they call it, what the term is, right? When you talk about the IOC, International Olympic Committee, and their rules, of which USAV answers to, is its end all, kind of be all governing governance. It's called improper movement. And I think I sent it over. I don't know. You could put it on the screen.
Well, I got the letter, actually.
Yeah, we can talk about
USAV,
the letter. But like even before we get to the letter, I sent over a thing just to explain this because I think
we'll have a round one thing that I put up, and I don't know if that's what you want.
No, like let's say there's actually I sent over because I think this would be really interesting and educational for directors and coaches and clubs.
Let's see what we can click on too. You sent multiple ones. Yeah. That's the letter. And guys, for the guys watching this on live, we're going to put it. All of this is going to be up on the edit because my team didn't, got this kind of late. So tournament day 1, entry final standings.
No, click. What is?
There's got to be more.
This right here. This one.
That one?
Yeah, click that one. Okay, so this is interesting, and this is what everyone who's involved in volleyball should know of any level. Okay, this comes from basically the IOC, which I think I had sent over a cover of the kind of IOC pamphlet.
I'm actually going to move that to camera 1.
But this is inside of that, and this is part of the regulations that talk about the manipulation of competitions.
All right, there it is. There it is on our live, right? You could actually look here.
Look there. Yeah. Okay. So the blue, right? This is the name of the document it comes from. Olympic Movement Code on the Prevention of the Manipulation of Competition, and this is an extract from of the IOC Code of Ethics. Okay, and so intentional arrangement, right? An intentional arrangement, act, or omission aimed at an improper alteration of the result or the course of a competition in order to remove, and this is the part that I love, it's so amazing, competition in order to remove all or part of the unpredictable nature of the sports competition with a view to obtaining an undue benefit for oneself and or for others. This is so interesting.
This is a classic way of saying rigging, talking about.
Yeah. But it what I love is how it defines rigging as messing with the unpredictable nature of competition. This is such a great way to say it and put words around that. And so this is what's happening is that you are coming into, let's say, what it's evolved to now is you're coming into an entry event for USA Volleyball because, most people know the story, but what happened, it was days before Island Fest started. Like literally I was walking out to get to the convention center 2 days before, I think, before we started last year. And this email comes out that like, hey, we're looking at basically delisting Southern California and Alaska.
Oh, dear.
What Alaska do? Leave Alaska alone.
Yeah.
We know. We're a bunch of in California.
Yeah, they're just trying to build an igloo, man.
Right? It's like that Jackie Pan.
Yeah. They made the little gym guy out of it. They put a gym in the igloo.
Enough problems in Anchorage. I mean, come on.
You got volleyball courts in the igloo, man. Cut them some slack.
Cut them some slack, right? They don't even get any nighttime. Right? Kids don't sleep, bro. Terrible. So anyway, that happened, and then it progressed, and everyone was like, "Oh, this will be a lawsuit for decades." And then, and John was just like, "No, you can keep doing your thing. You just got to stop using our logos." Essentially, they were just like, "No, you have your 501c3. That's
it's a free
fine,
country, yeah.
But you can't have mine."
Right. Oh,
that's very interesting.
Bam, I like
that's
that.
very interesting, right? You can have your own 501c3. You can do whatever you want, but you can't have mine.
You better call Tyrone, but you can't use my phone.
Very interesting, right?
I think you better call Tyrone, but you can't use my phone.
And that's like the guy, super amazing competitor. Got to play against him, almost all my years.
UCLA,
how many rings? Super smart. Even that team, just the intelligence on that team alone is sick. And everybody,
Irvine coach too.
John is one of the smartest in it. So just his reputation, and then it's just his love for the game. I mean, I've played short court with our two 11-year-old teams with John before a tournament. I mean, when's the last USAV president that got out there and played short court with 11-year-olds before the start of a tournament? Was like, hey, get on the court. We're gonna do this again. It's like,
yeah, we'll wait. It's been a minute.
Yeah, never beat you in college. It's not going to happen
see
now.
All that, man.
Yeah, so. Yeah, I've sent a few of those things just so people.
But that's
can see
the most important thing.
Yeah, that's the inside of the document. But
and you all. So I know you had a hard stop at noon too, so we're just like.
No, I canceled that. Okay. Yeah. So thank you though. So what's happened is now you come into an entry tournament, and the entry tournament is basically weighted like. The teams in Division I, their wins and losses matter more or less depending on how you look at it,
right,
than everyone else's. If you lose 3 games, if you're in Division, let's say if you're in Division III and you lose 3 games, dude, you can drop like 20 spots. Right. Like, I mean, it's brutal.
It is.
If you lose 3 games, and let's actually put that up because we can see it.
For what, the final standings?
Let's look at those documents again because I included one in there.
Just pointing that, I'll drag it.
Yeah, let's see. Tournament seating, entry day 1 standings, and then over there on the right, entry.
That one. Okay.
Yeah, click that, and then let's open, if we could open a couple of them at the same time, because we can actually see what's going on, even though how it happens is pretty convoluted.
Got to zoom in a little bit. Let me
Yeah, so there's a few strange things that's going on, and because this is a team that I was actually coaching within our club. It was just like right in my face, but this is like for the 3rd or 4th year in a row. And one of the things that happens is I get a phone call. I get a phone call that says, "Hey, would you let's scroll down there a little bit." So,
sorry, where was it?
Right there.
Okay, that's LAVBC.
Right, this LAVBC. I get a call saying, "Hey, would you mind if we move this team up into this position?" Okay. Now, this is after me complaining to USAV, that's Rachel Stafford is their lawyer, and then Bernie, forgetting that name, but she's supposed to be in charge of a large part of this. She's sent me an email that kind of says she's not, but in their own documents, she's supposed to oversee this match manipulation stuff. And I've been on this for like 2-3 years, ever since the PVL thing and these teams not getting admitted, and then the way the point scoring is going, and then how it bled in, and now here we are in 2026, and that's all started in like 2021, right? So this team, this LAVBC black team, this is like a bunch of 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 10, maybe there's one true 11-year-old on the team, 1 or 2.
Right.
This is a team that belongs at the bottom of the region, of the entire region. And I get a call like, "Hey, can we move it up?" And at the time I'm like, well, you won't hear it from me. I mean, if you want to use them, because there's 2 ways that when you get a call like that, there's 2 ways that a call like that cuts. If you're saying we're going to move a team up that is competitive into a position they don't deserve, don't call me.
What are you doing?
Like, don't call me.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Right? This was not that. What I was being asked is, can we take this team and basically put it in as a feeder team, a goldfish in the eel tank?
Right.
I mean? Like, and I was just like, well, I mean, sure, but
the guppy, yeah.
And here's how that cuts, okay? For a director, for someone who cares about a sport, who cares about their athletes, this is how that cuts. There's a big downside to that, because this little team goes into their first tournament and will just get hammered. There are 7-year-olds on this team. Will they even want to come back and play?
Right.
Like literally, we have seen kids quit between Saturday and Sunday.
They're just like,
okay,
dude,
this is their first experience, and they come in and, what do you mean there's 1,000 teams here? No. I thought this was like my rec league. No, it's not your rec league.
No,
okay?
you're not in church.
Right.
Not in church anymore.
Yeah, no, Kansas. Kansas killed a whole bunch of teams, didn't they? So Toto was a like.
Yeah, they did.
I was there. That was crazy.
Oh man.
Anyway, so there's a downside to that. The upside is that even though you would get crushed, okay, well, you're going to eventually filter down, but at least they get to see better competition as they matriculate their way through the tournaments down. At least they're getting a chance to see what the more prolific teams are. And so that when we go back into the practice gym, we can go, guys,
there's a measure.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to get to. Okay,
right.
So those are the two ways that cut. So it's not like oh yeah, like no, this is a 50-50 thing, and if it helps you, go ahead. Okay, I would never even say that again, because what I realized what happened to our other team. Okay, I would never say that again because I realized we took someone else's spot that should have been there.
Right.
And I realized that some of what it looks like they're doing is they're basically trying to deconflict clubs. Right. So if I have a club, let's call it.
I was going to say, yeah.
Moonshine.
Okay.
And I have Moonshine East, Moonshine West, Moonshine South, Moonshine North.
Yeah.
Why would it be LAVBC's problem if you have to play each other? That's not my problem. And as a matter of fact, if a governing body, right, and this is how they would try to gaslight it, right, tries to quote-unquote deconflict, and so Moonshine East doesn't have to play Moonshine West,
right,
by manipulating the field, you've also just defrauded my business.
Agreed.
Because the only reason you're doing that is so Moonshine doesn't have to play itself.
To eliminate one of their teams. And
therefore both teams get a chance to matriculate up, hopefully, is what that's all about. And by the way, why is anyone hoping for anyone?
Yeah, that's
my big question.
Yeah,
because now, and within the letter, if you want to post it, that's why we talk about collusion. Like, guys, this is collusion. You are literally colluding to defraud businesses. Not just one business. You're defrauding hundreds of businesses. Yeah, and you're colluding with what seems to be a few to do it.
This is, well, I can make it a little bigger, but.
Yeah. And
so basically, this is the letter, and I'm going to scroll, but you can summarize it. This was from who?
This is from me, essentially, from our club, from our company, right? Our corporation. And what we're saying is that we think that what is going on here is not only in violation of the IOC movement code, right? Specifically, the improper movement regulations, but because we have addressed this for years, and I'm talking about in writing, I'm talking about whistleblower letters sent to USAV. I'm talking about there was a tournament a couple years ago. It was the Red Rock, okay?
Yeah.
And in the Liberty, like, personally, like, I'm saying this is all personal. I've all experienced it, but my experience is not unique at all. Like, not at all. I used to be the one.
Just when you thought it was.
No, I used to be the one going, no, not
a one-off.
Not
it's
in
a
one-off. No, go home and sleep it off.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Or,
right.
Where's my shirt? Where's
my
my shirt?
Nobody cares. All that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We end up, this same team, actually, what's funny is the same team that had won that PVL gold thing a while ago. I'm looking at the seeding for the Liberty division of Red Rock, which again is supposed to be the penultimate example of USAV class, character, decorum, all of which are tied to rules. This is the flagship for Southern California.
Right.
It's Red Rock, right? It's one of the toughest qualifiers.
I mean, you could do a documentary.
World,
you could do a documentary. You could do a documentary on the road to it.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
It's big.
Oh yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
I filed that. Yeah, I
there
did.
You go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the number one seed is not there. Meaning that team is texting their friends on my team, because a lot of those kids used to play for us.
Right.
And now they're over at Active. They're literally texting them pictures from like Salt Lake City or wherever they were.
Wow.
And I'm like, guys, you got the code wrong. Like, because this club decided to name like all their, this year they like named them all black. I think like to try to make parents happy, or at least confuse them into submission. It was like, no, you're on a black team. No, you're on a black team too. You're on a black team. It's just black R, black Leilani, black Sarah, whatever they were, the teachers or whatever, right?
Man, they go too far with that.
Black dude.
I mean, I advocated for it, but geez, did they have to go all the way over there?
Well, it's just I don't know. It's something that clubs try to do to keep their parents calm in this era,
Yeah.
Anyway, so it was like black L and black R or something. Black R was the 44th ranked team in California.
Right.
We were number 22.
Mm-hmm.
That team was seeded number 1, which made us seeded number 9 instead of number 8. This is
being outside of the top 8.
This is how this all brewed up. And it was a big deal because the top 8 teams, if you pooled out, which we did, you get a bye on day 3.
Right.
We didn't get the bye. Right. So I am weeks ahead of this Red Rock going, guys, I'm writing emails to USAV. Ki Yi goes, oh, I'm not in charge of that. In other words, let me not like, oh, this is serious. Let me take care of this. Let me get you to the right person. Just, I'm not in charge of that. Like, and so it was very clear that like no one was really interested in fixing the issue. And at the time, even to this day, it's a club that we've had a lot of issues with because they're very predatory, in our opinion, towards our players. And like one tryout, parents told me they got a call from the club telling them that a whole bunch of our kids weren't coming back, that were coming back. In other words, just to try to blow up the teams. Jeez. Right. This is the modern era of competition, supposedly, right, where I'm not going to outrun you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the bottom of your shoe. So jeez, on mile 18, the whole thing just falls apart. Yeah, right. This is the new competition.
Just
right.
Keep running. Yeah.
It's a joke. So anyway, but this is the kind of things that you see and you deal with. And so what I was told was, well, you just have a problem with this club. Like I was told that, like Tim and the people that were running SCVA at the time. I'm like, no. And he goes, well, it's like if Serena, this is now we're at the tournament. Okay, so weeks have gone by, we're at the tournament, and now we're face to face. I'm like, guys, why did you not fix this, right? And he goes, well, it's like if Serena wasn't, because he's a tennis guy, right? So it's like if Serena was at Wimbledon and you thought she was a 1 seed, but she's a 4 seed, so now we just have a weak 1 seed. What's the big deal? I'm like, do you not know how your own tournament works? Like we are now not getting the bye that we deserve. And here's the other problem. In your tennis analogy, Serena is at Wimbledon. She's there. But what you did, what's happening now is Serena's on vacation. Okay, she's in the south of France, and you went, hey, Maria Liskova, number 44, it's your time, girl. You're number 1.
Wow.
like so the whole thought process is so off that you realize there's no real care here. There's no real care for what the athletes are or what the sport really represents, in my opinion, right? If you really care about something, you're making sure all the boxes are checked, like what we do, right? And here's what's interesting. If you look up, let's pull up some of those other pages. Let's look at some of the boxes that we check.
All right, so we'll go back to this. So the camera's on us, so we can look up. We can pull up whatever
USAV
we want.
conduct. Pull that up.
All right, let's go USAV conduct. Let's go down.
All right, look at this. Okay, so this is something we all check the box on as directors, as players. It actually covers everybody. Applies to USA Volleyball employees, USA Volleyball members. That's all of us. We all have a membership, right? Well, what is it, like $75 now?
Let's give it to the audience and then put it on our live stream. And bam, there it is. How's that?
All right. board of directors, basically this paragraph says it applies to everybody. Okay. Now let's go down a little bit. Let's go down that document. Right, and maybe you can post.
What are we looking for?
I think I put some red circles on some things.
Oh, you did?
Okay, here
Number
we go.
11.
Okay, so one of the things we all check off on is not only will we abide by the rules, but we'll also report violations. Okay, violations of the Olympic Movement Code. So it actually mentions this code. This is not like an abstract code that I'm finding deep in the weed. This ain't bro. This isn't the first 10 pages, not in pages 5 million to 5 million 45, right? Like this is right up front. This is this table of contents, right? Okay, this is number 11, okay? Violation of Olympic Movement Code on the prevention of manipulation of competitions and or the International Paralympic Committee IPC Code of Ethics. Okay, right. So here I am screaming, going, dude, you got a 1 seed that's not even here. In other words, that code for that team was not there. Right. And then what they did was they took another team and just slipped them in as the number 1 seed.
Just like...
Right? And no matter how much you would scream about this, no one really cared. Now, here's the other thing. The code, if we were to go back to the code, there's a second paragraph when we were looking at the movement code. Right. The second paragraph says that it's illegal not only to do it as like a director of a tournament or a region or something like this, in the Olympics, it's illegal to accept it.
Yeah, so the other team... but how about the other team? Yeah, but the other team knows they're not number 1.
You're not number 1.
Yeah, just stop. Yeah.
Listen, these are the best teams in the country coming to Red Rock, and you're 44 in your own region. You're not number 1. Jeez. 22 is standing right next to you in the hallway, right?
Team that beat you last week.
So exactly, no, literally. So that's what's interesting too. So there's culpability from on let's just call it like the management side, right? The directorship side of a regional side, but there's culpability on anyone who accepts it, right?
So let's go to 19. Failure to abide by applicable USAV or transfer policies.
Okay, go back up.
Go back to 11.
Okay, go down. Okay, so here's the other thing. There is...
Should I go to...
No, go to 19.
Reporting?
Let's stay there. No, let's go to 19 because this is a big thing that came up this year. So there's people talking about it online, Instagram, and all this kind of stuff. And what's crazy is that I've seen this firsthand too because these kids played at my daughter's high school. Sierra Canyon was at one point number 2 in the nation, won the CIF Division I championship, finished number 3 in the nation.
Trail a little Division I recruits, right? Yeah. Nebraska.
There's like $500,000 of NIL money on that team. Right. Okay, the number 1 recruit in all of 2027, Kendall, I'll butcher her last name, is on this team. She transfers in from Arizona. We got unbelievable outside transfers down from Northern California. These girls aren't coming from they're not coming from like Redondo. They're not coming from Mira. Thousand Oaks. Mira, they're not coming from Culver City. They're traveling a states away or states lengths away to come play for this school. So that already creates a ton of attention. I mean, I got emails from people in Arizona, high level volleyball Hall of Famers going, "Hey, is so and so in Arizona?" Because they're like, "Wait a minute, she's not on this team anymore." I mean, people follow volleyball, right? They follow these people, right? They follow these kids. And these are kids in the national development team pipeline too. So all those coaches that are coaching in these regions, NorCal, Arizona, they're going, "Where'd you go?"
And what's she doing now?
They're like, "Oh, here I am. I'm over here in SoCal. Lord. I'm over here in SoCal." Okay. So everyone, the assumption is that they're going to play for City because that's Steph, who's the coach at Sierra Canyon. I think she's won over like 300 games there. It's
she also at City Sports too.
She's the director of City. Yeah. You. So everyone's assuming that they're going to go play for City as well. They end up at City, and then after the entry tournament, in other words, they dipstick the club and their team or the entry tournament and go, "Not enough oil.
Right.
I'm transferring." Where do they transfer to? My kids club. They keep. I'm not like a guy. I mean, it's so open. What I'm trying to point out is that it's so open and it's so brazen. I am not spending my time following these situations or following these kids. It's so prolific,
They're not
so
like
brazen, so
Sherlock
open.
with a magnifying. Not like Sherlock with a
you.
magnifying glass. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they're literally walking in the door at my kid's gym. I'm going, I thought you guys. I'm not really saying anything. And then all of a sudden the Instagram popped up. It's called like Truth Volleyball. And this, I think it's a woman.
Yeah.
I think she just starts going off on it.
Yeah.
And rightly so.
Truth Volleyball.
She brings in the coaches
talk,
and the kids. I'm against that because even if, because the allegation, right, is that there's pay for play going on. To me, the whole thing is moot. You have a region with rules that I checked off on. I checked off on these rules. I bought my membership. I paid $75. So did thousands of other people, right? And number 19 says failure to abide by applicable USAV and or regional transfer policies, you are going to be dealt with. You are going to be sanctioned. It's right there on the piece of paper, right? Yeah. I checked out. We signed our name on all this. Dude, yeah. I have since found out that there's like been over 100 transfers, like since entry. Yeah. How now? Okay. Let's just go back just a little bit. But what happened was when USA Volleyball consumed SCVA, you also now bring into your body all the good stuff and all the cancerous elements, right? You have now consumed this thing. So my big problem is that where I had a problem with SCVA, now I have all this stuff that was in the works, already talking to my lawyers, already talking to people like, dude, this has to stop. My lawyers are going, let's just go to the DOJ and all this stuff. All of a sudden, USAV goes, it's us now. And now John is running this thing, and I'm going, holy crap.
Yeah.
Well,
let me read the first paragraph of the letter, actually, as we go to, let's go to box 2. Los Angeles Volleyball Club has informed this office that for the past several years there has been a match manipulation and tournament rigging with the SCSN. Although LA Volleyball Club has brought this misconduct to the attention of the leadership, LA Volleyball Club, the misconduct continues to this day. And compounding the situation, LA Volleyball Club and other volleyball clubs within the region have no information on how scoring is tabulated or how teams are determined. Moreover, SCSN does not provide any transparency on how bids for the United States National Championships are awarded to the clubs within that region. That's the beef of the letter. Just for people listening to the audio version.
And it goes on to explain, a bunch more things that I don't know that we need to get into, but it really can be summed up by a complete lack of transparency. It's one thing if you want to get into a point scoring system after an entry tournament, but we, for example, this team, right? They came in ranked about 20th out of 89, 90 teams. They go 6-0. They had no chance of coming out number 1.
Right.
Can you imagine going to a national qualifier, winning all your games and not being on a podium?
I mean,
it doesn't happen because that's not how open sports work.
Yeah, because it's meritocracy driven. If you win all your games, you're first.
And so that alone, when you juxtapose that, what happens in this entry tournament, which sets the tone for the entire year. Some teams lose because they have, we've had kids with broken bones. We've had kids with fevers. We've had kids that have gone to family weddings, and you lose one or two of those kids, and you have now gone from a Division I to a Division II team or Division II to Division III team.
Yeah.
And then you lose, and now you're in 50th place.
because
your whole
it's gnarly
season
like
is
that.
gone. Yeah, if you're down there, if you lose in Division One, here, let's just show people because I think some people won't quite believe this, but we got to show it. We got to show it to them. Go back to entry final.
That one?
Yeah, I think that's it.
All right, let's check it out. Yeah, so Jay, for me, it's not that they weren't being transparent. I'm going to download it and I'll blow it up so everyone can see it.
Yeah, because this is what will be shocking to some people, right? Because it's one thing to say something, it's another thing to show like such blatant receipts. So look at this. Look at what happens in Division One.
So I'm bringing it over for our live stream and right there. All right. There you go, Jay.
Okay. Look at the wins losses. I mean, what's amazing with this thing that Eugene has created, the Sport Wrench, right? He's the guy who codes it all. I think
make
Eugene.
It a little bigger.
Is it even gets down to point ratios, right? Which is incredible. This is basically happening in real time. Okay. Now just look at the win loss column, right? This Sunshine Firecracker team's unbelievable.
Right.
I mean, if they don't win a national championship, we're all screwed because I mean they are fantastic little team, really good.
Stuff together.
But look at us, we're 6-0 too, right? Look at this team,
6-0.
6-0. Look at the number 3 team, 3-3. Look at the number 4 team, 2-4, right? And what it was is this wheel where the top, like, I don't know, it was 4 to 8 teams. They just played in their own little tournament, like it was a bubble. Like basically within the same tournament, their division was manipulated to play like a bubble. And there was no way for us, even at 6-0, to get into that bubble.
Don't you think there was some ignored transparency? And I'm making this sound like an oxymoron. Like they weren't being transparent, but doesn't like Sports Engine like actually crunch the numbers where if someone actually looks, they can look at it and be like, hey, what just happened here?
Well, no, that's that page where it's Sport Wrench, right. But that's the page we're just looking at.
Go back to that. Yeah.
That's what this is end of tournament. So you can even go by the points ratio.
Right.
Right? Look at our points ratio. And here's then what was even crazier is that some of these teams, like for example, Sunshine Hurricanes with a which one is that? Oh, that's the Division 1 stand. Wait, hold on. Let me see. Oh, no. This is it. So look at our point ratios, like what, 1.49?
Right.
Okay. Same win loss and same set ratio as Sunshine Hurricane, right? But our point ratio is higher. Well, Sunshine Hurricane ends up 2 places above us before the start of Tournament 1. And we end up actually starting off as the number 9th ranked team in Tournament 1. So even by here, it looks like we should, by points ratio and all that, it looks like we should probably be 3 or 4.
Right.
We are put at 6 or 7. By the time the tournament starts, the next tournament, we're number 9. And not only are we number 9, but teams that should have been 10 or 11 are now number 6, 7. I said it. 6, 7.
I'm just so glad. Yeah. Oh my God. I was just talking to someone else about that 6, 7.
But it's true.
Oh, good
But that was the reality.
I just got a text about that.
But it's the reality.
Jeffries, if you're out there.
So this is happening across the region. Again, I'm just pointing out, what I just see from my purview. But I've watched this for years. I've watched it happen to us for years. I've watched it happen to other clubs and teams for years. Everyone has spoken out about it. Nothing has been done. Right. And then you look at catch a liar, find a thief. Well, if you're lying about this and you're not paying attention to this, what else are you lying about, not paying attention to? Well, now there's the whole thing where apparently we all sign on to there's no transfers, but then a director just told me that they counted it was over 100 transfers that were allowed. Last year we had a terrible situation with a competition family. We had to suspend the family because the dad was going after our female coaches,
right,
in very not cool ways. And so we suspended them. They wrote a letter to SCVA at the time. This was before they were assumed. And even though we had written a letter right away, okay, because I already know the worry, right? So said like we are specifically not releasing this team. They were this family. They released the family. The family still owed us money. We never got a consult, never got a call, never like what. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Right. Like, first of all, there's a no transfer policy that we all signed on that is supposed to govern your conduct. You signed on to that. As we saw, right, within the overall USAV, it applies to directors, members, regional directors and officers of USAV. This is a code that is supposed to direct and guide the actions of the USAV C-suite down to the U7 player.
Right.
Okay, we're all supposed to be in accord with this because we are members. We all buy membership to this club called USAV Volleyball. Okay.
You know it's also wild too, like look, I've been with you long enough where I just sniffed it. And when I sniffed what you had to go through, I'm like, thank God, all I got to do is coach. This, everyone's like, oh, you should be a club director someday. And I'm like, man, you can go kick rocks. I do not want to do this Jason don't want to do what this Jason wants to do. But I do want to bring up that they did say there was a bias. They said they were basically saying that you have an axe to grind against active. And before you answer that, my argument is, where's the comparative and contrast of the teams that you are doing this, that you favor? Right? So what does liking someone or not liking someone have to do with it? Let's say it's true. It's not. You got other things to do in your life, Jay. Okay? Let's just entertain it and say it's true. So what?
Yeah, well, if it was true, if it was true, so what? You're agreed. I don't like lots of things.
But is that more or less than what they're doing to people that they do like?
I don't like murderers. I don't like thieves. I don't like people who cheat. I don't like people who take positions in tournaments that they shouldn't. I don't like any of these people.
Mm-hmm. But I don't cover for people I like either.
Is the problem me?
No.
I feel like the problem is their behavior.
But on the other end of that spectrum, I don't cover for people I do like, which is what they're doing.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. So they need to leave the emotion out of it, because they're in a worse situation for what they're doing for people that they do like, in comparison or contrast to who you allegedly don't like.
I feel okay that your friends.
Artists is like, this is what I pay my money for.
I feel that your friends are the ones that hold you to the higher standard.
Yep.
That's why I got 3 and one's my wife.
Yep. God bless.
No, but you know what I mean? It's like, I used to moan at my parents about, like, God, dude, why can't you just be a little easier on me? Like, well, I'm trying. Like, okay, I made a mistake. But
bugging.
God, oh man, they were hard, bro. They were hard. And then you realize, like, and then there was a part that I rebelled against that. Some of my not wanting to play sports anymore is like, let me go over here and mess around with these artistic people. Like, just wake up
for a little bit,
frolic all day, and like, it's so much easier and nicer and kinder. Yeah, dude, that's a quagmire over there of when you talk about character. I mean, I spent a lot of my life and I touched the hot pan. I lived in the hot pan, right?
Right.
That the whole world's talking about now, actually. But so you see it and you experience it, and you realize, hopefully, if you're lucky, maybe you just through line. I know guys that are through line. The guys I really love and admire. I think John's one of them, actually.
Yeah.
But
I think he's a mensch.
But,
he's a real one.
I've kind of touched all. I want to touch that.
I mean,
I want to touch all the hot.
Is anyone more
qualified? But now
than
coming
that guy
back to
right
here,
now?
right, with the wisdom and experience, it's like no. I am doing you a service by pointing out the fact that you have jumped way over the shark with your lack. It's either a lack of desire, which would be the worst, or it's a lack of ability,
we don't think so.
Or it would be a lack of ability,
right,
which is at least somewhat understandable. Yeah. Like, if I don't have the police force, I can't go arrest everybody that needs to be arrested. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, are we saying that so the best case scenario that I see for USAV at this point is that they're so debilitated from a brain trust and like what would you say, a proficiency point of view. Like you don't have the bodies in the room, or you don't have the bodies with the will in the room, or you don't have the bodies with the will and the vision, because some of this is vision, to understand that this stuff will destroy you as a brand. Maybe that's it, that they don't see, like, this is an existential crisis if you are lawless, if you are regulationless, if you are basically saying that you're going to turn USAV volleyball into AAU basketball, where a kid can play for one team and then put on another jersey and go play for another team.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of that has been seeping into volleyball over the decades. A lot of it because, a lot of, look at every basketball player out there, their daughter's playing volleyball now. It's like a thing, right? And that's great. It's great for the sport and all that. Yeah. But there's also a different sense of this culture where the rules are what you can get away with. And if there's no penalty to it, and you have that trickling up, and now you got directors of regions thinking like this,
right?
Then we're lawless, and if we're lawless, then there's no brand, because the whole point of, like, USAV is not the biggest youth tournament in the country. That's AAU. That's a $900 million tournament. It's 800 something million tournament, right? Mm-hmm. That's not USAV. USAV is the cream, is the tip of the pin, right? And that's why it matters. But if you lose the brand, it doesn't matter anymore. Right. Because first of all, people who want to represent the best, who want to represent decorum, class, and culture, they'll go somewhere else.
Right.
Or they'll build something else.
Yeah, or they just have to clean house, right? Like, the reason why, when it came to John, I was thinking more of the latter, because when you get the position, we don't know what kind of team, if he's allowed to bring in his own team, or if he has to be like, this person's like, well, I guess I'm still here, presumably, right?
Right.
Bear with me for a second.
No, I know. I'm with you.
I've been coaching 26 years, but it was one of the worst stints of my coaching life. I took an interim position at John Jay College. One of my guys was leaving, right? And I was his part-time assistant, just like whatever. And I told the director, I'm like, look, I'm moving to California. Timing was everything, but I can stay on as an interim and help the interview process, coach this team. So when I'm in this team, there are players that I would never recruit, and whatever. There's director of operations who I kind of know, and there's these people around you, and you have a decision to make. You can trust them, whatever, and then something happened at the end, and if something goes wrong, you have to fall on that sword, and you look like an idiot. And I'm sure some of that might be happening to John. Certainly some that happened to Furbringer, Joy and Matt at Long Beach State when they got escorted out. Y'all will read about that later. I found Mackenzie told me about that, Dave Mackenzie. But what happened was, in the semifinals, the City University Championships, we got eliminated in the semifinals, and then after the team meeting or whatever, I'm watching the finals because I'm a CUNY guy. I'm invested. I'm a New York guy, and security's like, you got to come right now, right, whatever. So I go to the locker room, and they're brawling, and there's just like 8 chicks just like holding each other back, fist fighting.
Kids, the players.
Yeah, just fist fighting. You know what I'm saying? Some of us got weaves, and there's hair, whatever, and it was a learning experience for me. And the learning experience came from women's volleyball. Never vilify a girl that would make the rest of the team alienate her. Because what happens is they start forming these cliques. This the good players clique, this clique, and we think we see it because we've been in the game for a minute, right? So we think we see it a mile away, and we don't.
Right.
We don't. It was one of the worst things in my volleyball life. And I never told anybody about it because, nobody wants extended stigma. But since I'm 55 and I don't care what anyone thinks anymore, I'm sharing the story with you now. But my point is, me not vetting people, be like, nah, whatever you're doing, cool. I need my own people here.
Yeah.
And this is where I think John, when he got hired, he had a decision to make. He had to, we didn't want to get into this, but Jesus, you know me. You have to make a decision to say, look, I cannot have other people call shots in where I have to deal with the result.
Yeah, I mean,
yes. Where I have to carry the ball.
Yeah, look, yes, totally agree. Mm-hmm. And
right,
okay, this is an aircraft carrier. This is not a motor yacht. This isn't like this isn't even a billionaire's, 350-foot motor beautiful yacht with helicopter. It's not. I know a lot about that. But this isn't that. This isn't that. Okay? This is an aircraft carrier.
Yes.
So you might be able to get rid of a few duty officers, a few sailors. You might be able to get rid of, some lieutenants, whatever.
But you need
listen.
You need to keep Maverick,
that might be 500 people.
Right.
You can't get rid of the captain. You got to pull the into port. You can't. There's 5,000 people on this aircraft carrier.
Yes.
Right. So
and you need to keep Maverick.
When you look at what's happened, that's Air Force. When you look at what's happened,
it's Navy.
Is it?
Yeah.
Did they fly?
Navy. You didn't see the rank and like the little white.
You're right.
Come on.
Always taking off. See, dude.
Yeah. I only recognize the rank. That's why, because there's no admirals in the Air Force. It's the same. The Air Force ranks are the same as the Army.
They always took off from the ships.
Yeah, the officer ranks are the same as the Army.
You're right. God, wow, makes me rethink everything. So, you got to keep that upper deck. Because wheels on the boat, this all happened like that. Like I was saying, remember the letter went out like, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to take Alaska and California, in California. Everyone's like, what? To progressing to, this will take 10 years of lawsuits. Nope, it's done like that. Now you got to run this thing. Now you got the problem that you got what you wanted. That's your biggest problem. Now who's going to run this thing? Well, the same guy that ran PVL that, everybody viewed that at the time as a hostile takeover. It's not like the PVL guys, which there was, a bunch of clubs and, Key is the front person. I don't put it all on him because he's just the face of it. There's a bunch of people behind it, right? They didn't go to Ann and go, hey, how can we help? Right? How can we help you? You're dealing with your family stuff, whatever's going on. The USAV is not going to jump out in front of this liability shield. The liability shield was we're going to play in accordance with state and local laws. Well, state and local laws here was shut your down and go home. Right. That's what Gavin's law was, right? Like shut your business down, shut your gym down, gavel. Shut everything. We were playing... For
YouTube purposes, we call them gavel.
We were playing on an listen, and because like I told you, I had all these parents. I had hours and hours and hours of meetings. And what we decided to do was, because at the end of the day, there was this little part of them that wanted their daughters to play in college.
Right.
We were playing on an outdoor court. I think you saw it. We had a private space, basically campus, on an outdoor sport court, like with holes in it. It's like almost like playground tiles, outdoor sport ground with masks on. That's how we kept going as a club.
Right.
Okay. A lot of other clubs just rolled up all the doors and rolled down all the doors and blackened out the windows and played inside.
Right.
Okay. We went to Red Rock. There was 900 teams down from like 1,500 at Red Rock. Texas was wearing their masks on their throat. And I remember saying, I think I said it to you, I go, either we're all going to die or this isn't quite what we think it is. Right. Because we're sitting in Mandalay Bay that year with no air system and just like 900 teams deep playing, breathing all over the place, super heavy. Dude, there was no outbreak. So think what you want of that. But that's what was going on. Right. It was a very difficult time, okay? And so, but these people didn't go, hey, Ann, how can we help? How can we help build SCVA? No. They created a competing brand, okay? And it like really wasn't their first time wanting to do this, okay? And a lot of that was wrapped up around if we're like they're super good clubs with these national caliber teams, we don't want to, quote, waste time playing these lower ranked teams. In other words, if you snake the whole region, and I'm playing devil's advocate here to my own argument, if you snake the whole region and number one plays number at this point 345, you know what I mean? That's real. Right. Yeah. And that's not even as deep as it goes. I picked a number that's not as deep as it goes. 345. There's probably 370, 380 in some of these age groups, right? But 1 versus 345. There's no volleyball to be played. Okay, that's an argument.
Right.
What disappears from a competitive point of view in that argument is the ability for 345 to see number one,
right,
of what it's like. The ability for them to share the court with them, right? The ability yesterday for Hawaii to share the court with Texas was pretty awesome. I don't know anyone who thought that they had a chance, right? But then you look down the road, and what do you mean Wisconsin's out? Right? There was a volleyball game. I don't think it was this year. I think it was the year before, where Northern Iowa had 4 serves for match point. I think it was Nebraska. Might have been Wisconsin. It was one of those two.
Yeah, they couldn't finish.
They had 4, blew 3 of them out of bounds.
Yeah.
But they had 4 point for match, go home, end of tournament to one of the biggest teams. I think it was one of those two. Maybe Louisville. I don't know. But one of the big pit. I don't know. It was one of the top 5 teams because it was first round, 1 versus nobody. And here we are. And I know, and I saw that coach. I saw her in Minneapolis, and I introduced myself. I was just like, that was incredible. She's like, we could have served better.
I love it. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, you know what I mean?
End.
So that whole story is gone.
Right.
The ability of 1 to learn, 345 to learn from 1, that's done. The major upset is done. And don't forget, when you snake like that, there's probably a number 25 in there, or a number 50 or someone in there, right? All of that is gone now. And more importantly, the way that you're keeping this system intact is through manipulating and from illegally moving the entry tournament.
Right.
Creating illegal movement through there. And then they'll point at the rest and go, oh, no, but this is all based on we wait. This win matters more because you're beating a better team, or the loss isn't as significant because you're losing to a lesser team. So now you've weighted all these teams based on
you keep talking. We need to just go back to that.
No, but that's what it comes back to. That's what it all comes down to, right?
Just look at that. I gotta zoom in on that. It's just some team is 3-3, dude. Just don't.
3-3 and had no chance of getting kicked out of Division I. We were 6-0, had no chance of getting on the podium. Right? We lost 2 sets the entire tournament. We had no chance. There was no technical way. Right? And so once this has been brought to everyone's attention for years, in writing, and we're going, hey, dude, this has got to stop. This got to stop. And now we have, a letterhead. You didn't show the letterhead with 30 lawyers on it. Right?
Yeah, I can go back.
Now we're on a clock till May 1, and we have to have some kind of movement on this. There's
the lawyers.
Or we have to have some kind of movement on this, right? Which, that's not even that's not even the firm that I would use.
No,
because this is something that's actually more affordable for us to use. But it just creates the very clear understanding, right, that there is a trove of information here that has been looked at by lawyers for 2 years now, and there's been no even attempt by USAV to make the change. And here's the bigger problem: now you own it. Right? So as before, if we filed the lawsuit a year ago, it's just SCVA. But because now USC is talking, now you're talking about these super deep pockets. You're talking about thousands of athletes in the class. You're talking about hundreds of clubs in the class who have all been cheated according to your own rules, regulation, and your governance, or let me say your recommendations of governments in accordance with these rules and recommendations. Because remember, it's not just the rules and recommendations. There's the extra layer that says, and if you don't report this, you're the problem.
Well, we know that recommendations is code for you have to do it.
But you
unless something goes wrong, then they just say it was just a recommendation.
This is my point. It happened to us where one of our teams that should have been down in Division 9, or whatever, the low division, they're all of a sudden they're up playing above our number one team. They're playing in a pool up here, and I understand there's a snake and all that, but they didn't belong there.
Right.
I know that. I know they don't belong in that position.
You're just like,
and as a director, I have reported it.
Good.
So I've reported my own. I've reported that, hey, we were a party to this. We don't want to be a party to this.
How would you like for them to have one in the chamber if you didn't report that? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about, Jay? You were the beneficiary of this. How would you like? I mean, I know at some point you have to dig in, and there's an oppositional thing. But how would you love?
Nope, there is no oppositional thing, and that's. I'm not.
You eliminated that
exactly, and
by
I want to be careful
having
how
integrity.
I say it, because I do not. I'm sure everybody else, the vast majority of people, maybe even folks in USAV right now, they see it as an adversarial situation. If I'm trying to help you kick drugs, you might see me as your enemy. I don't see me as your enemy. I see me as your best friend. Right?
Yeah.
Right now,
that's a very nuanced.
Right now, we kind of feel addicted to doing things the cheap way, the easy way, the you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours way. And what I'm saying is that is an existential threat. Now, how do we know that? There are no boys playing in USAV. No. We know that once you start playing this game of bull, someone's going to call bull and bounce, right? Which is what happened.
Yeah.
And anyone that knows the situation of why all the boys, the top boys in the country left, goes, yeah, I get it.
Yep.
No one says, "Oh my God, you should have stuck with it. You should have stuck."
No, there's none of that.
There's no one saying that, dude. There's no one saying that. Everyone goes, "God, it's but I get it."
Yeah.
Right. At least those of us who, people who don't care about USAV, they go like, "Oh, good riddance." Me, I'm like, dude, it. I've talked to some of these directors. I'm like, God, it's kind of see if we can get. We're trying to get more boys teams. As kind of like a, maybe what happens on the island stays in the island. We're trying to get a lot of the top USA. Or now they're not. God, see, I can't even.
Yeah, boys finals.
Now
really
they're
too,
AAU boys teams to come play in Island Fest, even though it's a USAV tournament. We can
guys, boys teams out there.
Oh, they're great.
You gotta go, man. Watching our boys finals was like a collegiate level thing.
Was it a great? Well, yeah. I mean,
really,
SAS
really
is SAS Spike and Serve out of Hawaii. They're I believe they're the reigning U16 USAV champions. I believe Open champions. Yeah.
So. Actually, we're going to take 30 seconds because this file only holds 2 hours and 26 minutes. I'm going to change the cartridge. The live is still going. So,
are you serious?
Coaching 10s to 13s is amazing. Like from a simple form perspective, teaching rotations is God's work. But right, it is because once they learn it, they can't unlearn it.
Yeah.
So it's a very valuable tool. But talking about the development and the fundamentals, somewhere, and this is just my experience, from 14 to 17, there's a little bit of a halt in that. And I don't want to talk about that this episode because we don't have a lot of time. Yeah. But there's been a halt from that, and I suspect it's glorified babysitters. And coaches that are actually trying to do their job and make sure whatever.
It's also biological.
Yeah.
You got to read talent code, which is a very popular.
But it's about motivation too, because like Texas, we talked about Texas rising up. It's not like they didn't have the athletes all along. They have somebody with all money took something personally against a Californian and decided they're going to put all their money and time into it. I was at Chicago. Remember Nationals in Chicago?
Yeah.
They flew their teams in via private jet.
Well,
it's just, yeah.
Buddy of mine owns God, I wish I could remember the name of the club, but he played for Northridge, and he was telling me the numbers. He goes, "You're gonna cry." I go, "Well, just tell me." This was at
tell me, yeah.
This was at New Orleans, and he goes, "We have, I think it's a 9-court facility with acreage, like 10 acres, something like that," and he's like, "It's $5 million."
Right.
It cost him. I'm like, that's a house in Brentwood.
Yeah.
And they're out there building $5 million.
Yeah.
They got a 9-court
OJ
facility.
is like,
I go, well, how high is the
like,
ceiling?
what happened to my money?
I said, well, how high is the ceiling? Oh, 40. I'm like, dude, so it's like we just can't even do what they can do there. It's
I wanted to finish the trip by saying I was with James Barker, and there was a guy with a cowboy hat next to him. And the guy with the cowboy hat comes up to me because I was talking to James about the private jet and all that stuff. And the guy says, son, sometimes the best way to beat a good old boys club is to make your own. And I was just like, okay. All right, and that's what happened. I wanted to talk about a book that a player can read that's athletic inspiring. It doesn't have to be a volleyball book. Like, for example, I read Unbroken, the Zamperini story. I thought that was inspiring. Like his willingness to not quit no matter what, right? Yeah, that was kind of extreme. But The Winning Element. The referee Schneier just wrote one. It's right behind you.
Yeah.
That's
a good one. We brought that for every member of our club last year.
Right. You got me onto the captain's class, and I thought that was amazing. Aaron Wexler wrote The Inspired Athlete. Is there a particular book? Chop Wood Carry Water.
Oh yeah.
Required reading for LMU.
Yeah.
Books, Jay. The floor is yours. Or a book.
Yeah. There's so many. God, I get so bad with names, but I'm gonna go back super old school. For
was it Wooden?
No, dealing with injury. This is what, and also to publicize my own club a little bit unabashedly, but we have a library on our website, which is losangelesvolleyballclub.com. losangelesvolleyballclub.com. We have a library that has a bunch of great books on it. But this one in particular, I read, that must have been 1991. And it is called Way of the Peaceful Warrior. And it is a phenomenal book if you have to deal with injury or if you have players that are dealing with injury. Dan Millman's a writer, and what happens is he's a world-class gymnast at UC Berkeley, I believe. He's going to college, but he's like an Olympic-level gymnast, and he gets in a motorcycle accident and breaks like 70, 80 bones. You should be type accident, and he comes back from that. And what it is it's a journey through Eastern medicine and healing. The issue with anyone who knows anything about health and recovery is that the Western system has almost nothing for us. Anything that's good within the Western system is essentially a technological adaptation of something that exists in Eastern medicine. So, for example, if you're doing the like E-stim, I used to call it. I know there's different names. You can even have it in your pocket now, an E-stim. But that's a take on acupuncture, right? But I'm here to tell you, acupuncture. I'll take acupuncture over E-stim any day. But E-stim is good. I mean, there's things that are happening. I'm just saying it wasn't developed, out of the book. And so, but the Eastern system of, even there was a thing the Olympic team was doing for a long time. Like I read the report on it, but again, this is in the 90s when I read this stuff. Aloe vera for treating anything to do with tissue. And one of the big things that has more to do with tissue than anything else is sprained ankles, right? And so they were using aloe vera, like rubbing it in, like the actual plant. Don't go out and get banana boat. That's just chemicals. Get the plant. You just get the plant and you rub it in like 3 times, massage it through like 3 times a day, and it was something ridiculous, like 60-70% faster healing rate for anything that was like a soft tissue injury. The thing with ankles, which we get all the time in volleyball, especially the young kids, is that it's the inflammation that then is pushing the nerve and creating that pain. And if you can release that, which the aloe vera helps to do, and create the blood flow, loosen up the tissue, it's one of the only things that's known to penetrate into human tissue, things like that.
Yeah.
So Dan Millman goes through this. And then what happened was my senior year, this is right before the Final Four, there's this weird ball that gets set, or I don't know, ends up on like the 7-foot line. And I'm kind of like going back, well, I'm just going to, farm this thing over. And somebody came out of the back row and went over the top of me.
Like,
and I couldn't get out from underneath him.
Yeah, there's no.
And I was like, as I'm going to the floor, I'm like, surely you're going to get off. Surely you're going to, nope. And I land, and this thing in my neck just goes.
Oh,
and when it's bad when there are 10,000 people in the stands, and it was the proverbial, I was laying there on the floor going, there's 10,000 people here and I can hear a pin drop. That looked as bad as it felt. Got up, came out, went back in, actually finished the game at like 3:00 in the morning. I woke up screaming in pain, thought that I felt like someone was stabbing me with a knife. I couldn't move. I couldn't move my neck at all. They had to pick me up in an ambulance, the whole thing. The school basically had nothing to treat me with. All they had was Western stuff. And I get a call from this guy. His name was Indy Schneider. He goes, "How you doing?" I go, "Terrible."
Yeah, how you think I'm doing?
He goes, "I saw it on TV. It looked bad." I go, "It's bad." And he goes, "You don't know me. I just saw it on TV, but I'm a East practitioner of Eastern medicine. Would you allow me to come work on you?" I was like, dude, Final Four was like in a month, maybe 3 weeks or a month. I thought I was out for 5, right? I'd never had something like this. I go, absolutely. Didn't know the guy.
You had everything in the game.
Bro, there was no cell phones back then. Call me on the apartment phone, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know how he got my number, first of all. So we start this whole thing 4 times a day, right? The luxury of being a Division I athlete, right?
Yep.
Time.
Yeah.
You have time, right? You don't have to go to work, all these things, right? So he would come and treat me, acupuncture, all this kind of stuff, crazy, like the most painful massage, all this kind of stuff. And I was able to play. Not play at 100%, but I was able to play in that Final Four. So, I had read that book like 3 years before. So by the time he called, I was like, oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
This is like the book.
We're doing this.
Book coming to life.
Yep.
And so, life is beautiful sometimes. Magic, dude. And that really, reading that book, will change your life. It will change your player's life. It will give them hope. It will give them understanding that, like, hey, I got a sprained ankle. Sitting at home and waiting for it to wear off is not where it's at.
Right. Yeah. What was the name of the book again?
It's called Way of the Peaceful Warrior.
Way of the Peaceful Warrior.
Yeah.
We talked about that actually previously, and it's also on the web. One of the books listed on the website. I really like that.
Yeah, it's my number one. I just, you could read a lot of stuff, but in terms of just God healing you, you know.
I liked Chop Wood Carry Water because it was about embracing the process of getting up every morning and doing
I've
that.
heard so much. I'm going to read that because for years I've heard that, but I've never read it.
You remember we had this conversation like Red Rock's so crowded and whatever. It's like this controlled chaos, and we said something like become the fire or be consumed by it,
right,
or something like that. Mm-hmm. So that's what Chop Wood Carry Water is. You find something that you like about it, find a sense of pride, find the nuances of this, and now you're getting up in the morning, and it's not a labor. You're not thinking about it. You're just doing it, right? It's like when you get up in the morning to brush your teeth, you don't think about brushing your teeth. You just brush. So take that example and amplify it into something where you just embrace it. Your teeth are whiter. You're this or that. Mm-hmm. I'm proud of that. So Chop Wood Carry Water is about this guy that wants to be a samurai warrior, but they made him do that, and he embraced the process, which made him stronger and more prepared to do the other. Mm-hmm. Very good. It's actually at LMU. LMU John Merritt's required reading before the season starts. You have to read that.
Yeah.
So hey, what sports do you like to play outside of volleyball? Golf. I knew that, right? It's a rhetorical question, but we owe the audience the answer, right? They don't know.
Yeah.
I like.
That was my second sport.
Yeah. I think as a spectator, I like mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
Not just the UFC, like Bellator.
Well, that's what I do every morning. I mean, I do jiu-jitsu.
What are you? Are you purple or?
I'm a
black.
I'm technically a blue belt, but I think I've become one of those guys that I used to be like, oh, that's because I'll
Right.
go, and then I'll take so much time off.
Right.
So there's guys that literally I started with who are black belts now,
Right.
and I feel a little bad sometimes.
Right.
But anyway, I don't
Yeah.
I'll take big breaks and all that kind of stuff. But I have a new dojo that I love. Well, my original one that I just loved that got closed in COVID.
You appreciate the art of it, like the transitions and
to
just
what you said, the chop wood carry wire.
Yeah.
Something okay. You wake up at 5 a.m. Class starts at 6:15, and just the act of getting there and being there on time. It's like okay, and then you're done with people trying to kill you at 7. The rest of the day seems pretty easy after that.
Do you know how you embrace it though? The day goes by faster.
Yeah.
Like when you're doing something you love, like you and I like to coach, we're at practice and practice is done. Like we have set times where we're supposed to do drills or whatever, and this and that.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh my God, I only have 5 minutes. This is going to have to be the next practice. And you got the girls that are like, oh, do we have to go? But man, when you have somewhere where you don't want to be,
Yeah.
you look at that clock and you think the clock went backwards a minute. You're like, no, whoa. It just said 1 o'clock. Why is it 12:59? Why is it 12:59?
Yeah. And that's why I always think like with the acting stuff, is like, even when I was like doing shows like series, which you show up to work every day for months and months. God, dude, the only part I liked was the actual when the camera started rolling. Mm-hmm. I didn't like anything else about it, and it's so weird that you could just work your ass off as a coach, get paid not even
whatever,
not even the same
we'll just say
universe,
yeah,
right? And this is so much more enjoyable than over here where it seems like you have so much time and freedom, and that's true to a sense, but it's like, my God, the only fun part lasts for 2 minutes. Right. Like the whole scene. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, the longest the scene is going to last, 5 minutes? And you're like, oh, okay, let's go wait another 8 hours.
Right. Well, audience, he's talking about film though, right? Like film, they don't.
TV too.
Yeah. Well, for that, they don't pay you to perform. They pay you to wait.
No,
I think you act for free. No,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like the process, right? There's a process. Right. The process to sports and volleyball coaching is just, I don't know. Right. For me, it's super enjoyable. Whereas over here, I can like, okay, the skill I really like. I love that. It's fun. It's super cool, creative, but the process.
It does.
Excuse me, cussing, but
that's all right.
I just don't.
The whole second half of this, I got to edit it.
Right. Anyway.
Like the Hawaiian Festival, I'm actually not even going to touch the first half of this. It was just beautiful. But I like what you said, because me as a theater performer that wasn't on a camera, a lot of the things that we did, lucid body movement, just preparing, shaping your body to play a character.
Well, that's why they say it's the actor's medium, right? Because you're active all the time. You're there an hour, you're working an hour.
Aaron Wexler says, "Let's go." You caught us at the tail end, Aaron. You as a club coach are going to love this. He's a West Coast volleyball, beach volleyball guy. Jay, this is amazing. Thank you for coming on, my friend.
Thanks for having me on, man. And I know this letter is out there and people are talking about it. So thanks for allowing me to kind of explain what's behind it and where I'm coming from.
Well, they got to come to you now. So that's how this works.
Oh, hopefully come to each other.
No, and that's all we want. And I think that's what, like all of the good people we were talking about, the good faith actors during this podcast, that's what they want too. You know what I'm saying? We named them by name. John Sparrow is a good faith actor.
Yeah. I think he's the best. He's the best chance I think the sport maybe ever has had.
Is there anyone more qualified for that position too? Like he has administrative experience. He has head coaching experience. He was an active player.
Yeah.
He is.
I'll take love for the game. You could almost put all of that underneath love for. I just feel like when you love something, when you live, eat, sleep, breathe, bleed something, all those other traits will kind of filter in.
Yeah.
And I just think that he is the most passionate about this sport, particularly the men's game, that we have had in, I'll just say, a very long time, and I think it's refreshing.
I can't even remember back that far.
There's a lot of work. Let's just say there's a lot of wood to chop, and there's a lot of water that needs to get carried, but we need to get back to what, I'm just going to say, this region has to get back to what Southern California volleyball used to mean. And it's not going to do that if the people who have been part of building it as players and youth and, now coaches don't get involved and get us back to an open
sport,
open character,
right.
Open decorum. Even if we have to weight some things at this point, it cannot be done with a sense of moving and manipulation, because it's just going to ruin us.
It comes back full circle. But I would like to land on a positive note, man. I just really love the Hawaiian Festival. I love what's coming up. I'm looking forward to hopefully working with you. Having the honor, duty, and privilege if you'll have me, of course.
Of course.
And guys, Jason Olive might love you guys, but I don't love any of you guys. In fact, I can't stand any of you guys. In fact, we're out of here. So for all of you at home, for all of you on your iPads or iPhones at the lunch
you said
line,
you were going to be positive.
For all of you,
you said positive.
Actually, let's reel that back in. I do love you guys. I love you as much as Jason Olive. I love you so much. I miss you.
Sees why we don't
when
get
this
along.
podcast is over, I'm going to miss you like the deserts miss the rain. So for Jason Olive, he's right there. I'm Jason DeBiz. This is the Option Podcast, episode 275. We're going to hit my music. Jay, you stay with me. But for everybody else, we are out of here. Come check out the Option Podcast on optionvb.com. It's also available on iTunes and Spotify and on YouTube under the NY Varsity Sports handle. You're going to love what you hear.